This is why we need the Second Amendment.
Why are we still talking about the LMAO?
Introducing.
Jesus, Fluff. This is what his right to bear arms was made for, okay?
Find along the way, unite the halves.
I half expected this to be like AI.
Of course it's a music video. What upsets me the most is that there are always bangers. She's looking pretty excited.
Yeah, like. Yeah, she's like, get over here.
She's a freak.
She's a horse girl.
Is that? That's not Joji, is it?
Kind of looks like it.
Right?
Don't look like it.
He didn't look like it when he was walking up. Also, that man is not her father. That man is the same age as her.
Adopted.
Ew. Oh, he's dead.
Find your other half. My son.
Yup. God damn it.
All right.
See, I think like when I saw it on Discord, and again, it could have definitely been you, but when I saw it on Discord, someone said like in 2012 or whatever, it was what does the fox say? In 2025, it's half horse, half man.
Horse, half man.
And I was like, oh, okay, because it does give me those vibes, like those Elvis vibes.
Yeah.
And what is it? The Lonely Island vibes.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
I think they should submit it to Eurovision.
It's catchy. It is catchy. I like that. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Another week. 45 goes out tomorrow morning.
Hey.
So that is, 45 goes out tomorrow morning. I edit this episode tomorrow to go out Thursday. And the saga is complete. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, look how
Get
far
it caught up.
we've come.
Yeah, no. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, welcome back to another episode of Kingz After Dark podcast. I usually do cold opens, and I guess technically we did.
That was a cold opening.
It was.
If you decide to edit that.
If I decide to put it in there, we'll see. That might be Patreon only, which is only $1, by the way.
No.
Dalero.
Close enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't want to go.
Oh, man. What do we got in for today? Oh, that's right. A lot went on from last week to this week.
Yeah.
There's news stories that became news stories and then got updated news stories and then are kind of just in a holding pattern of not being news stories right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is gonna be. It's all fucking stupid, isn't it? Like, we'll be getting into that. So I want to start off with you were fucking wrong. I guess technically we talked about it in the episode, but you were hella wrong because not only did they not go to the Super Bowl, they were going to a different game. They fucking lost.
They lost their playoff game. And yeah, the moment I saw that score pop up, I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting flamed on the podcast for sure.
Oh, no, you're not either. None of us care enough.
Well,
not by us. We might get flamed by comments, but
comments are going to flame me. The viewers, you guys, I accept the flame. I accept them. I will fall into the fire.
45 to 31.
People have been flaming.
And
Yeah.
yes, yeah, my whole Facebook feed, people are just disappointed. They're just
it was really bad.
like, I can't believe we cheered y'all on, and this happens every time. And I'm like,
Look, if we accept incremental progress,
yeah.
the last 2 years have been the best in
Decades.
Forever.
Lions,
a long time.
the history of the team that is the Lions.
Yeah.
If it's not the history, it's at least the last 30 some odd years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like they went from winning 0 games the whole season to winning 5 games to winning 10 games. They went basically from like 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the card fucking sputtered.
Now they're just choking right when they have the chance to like finally drive it home.
Right.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had no intentions of even like watching the game. I was going, some friends of mine were having a board game night that coincided with the game. They were going to be like, let's do board games first. And then we'll start the game. If anybody wants to bounce, they can bounce. At that point, I fully planned on leaving. It was a fun night. It was, had an old fashioned. And so I was like, just kind of sipping out. I was like, when I finish this, I'll leave. And then I was just watching the game. And then it was like, they had a pretty okay start. They had a pretty decent start. And then they threw that pass. That pass that turned into an interception. Almost like he threw it directly at the opposing team.
And I think that's pretty much how it went last time, but towards the end of the game.
Yeah,
was somebody placing some bets and they were like, the Lions are going to lose in the first?
So what was told to me is that the Lions were actually projected like as the betting winners, which is hilarious in hindsight. But
yeah, in hindsight, but in the moment when you're in that momentum, you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna win it all. They got it. They got it.
Nope. As is always, in the 11th hour, the Lions managed to fuck it up somehow.
But they have gotten
5
better.
years from now, when they start going to the Super Bowl every year but losing the Super Bowl,
It's gonna be extremely funny. It's gonna be as funny that it is funny now.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, at some point they're gonna do it.
Some point, but
At some point they are going to do it.
it's not this point.
Not this year.
is there anything else you wanted to talk about in our local sports segment?
The
Sure.
shortest
the
segment.
sports ball segment.
The shortest segment of this podcast.
Not until the summer when I have more disc golf shit to talk about,
Oh yeah, that's true.
which I won't talk about on this podcast, but it's okay.
It's also probably true.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that was just really funny because of how like excited you were about it when we talked about it.
I was like, yeah, they're going to the
Super Bowl.
No.
I was like,
was like, you sure about that? Because there really is no news about this. But hey, man, what the fuck do I know? Nah, they fucking lost. Well, the thing is, they would have still had, I think, 2 more games to do before really going to the Super Bowl. But I don't know if this, I'm assuming that this is just their running is now done. I assume that's how this goes. But hey, what the fuck do I know? Oh,
as much as I do, apparently.
Right. But speaking of stuff actually in our circles and radars, there was a Switch 2 announcement just fucking randomly dropped last Thursday.
Random drop.
Just with no fanfare, no announcement. People were saying in the comments this was the most, you know what, fine, since y'all want it so damn bad here. Announcement.
Almost every announcement that they did that wasn't the Switch 2 announcement, like game updates, HD versions of games that they're porting to the Switch. They're like, everybody in the comments was like, okay, so where's Switch 2?
Where's Switch 2?
Switch 2? Is
and
it Switch 2?
Then Nintendo was like, all right, fucking fine.
And everybody was leaking like images.
Yeah.
And like prices. And Nintendo, I'm sure they were just like, you know what? Fuck it. Send it.
Since y'all want it so damn bad.
Right.
But yeah, so this was the trailer that I sat down and watched.
So an OLED.
Right.
What I want to know is how the controllers lock in sideways like that.
My guess is that they went back to the magnet design.
It seems like he'd just be able to pop them out too easy, and then the whole thing would fall on the ground.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm very curious.
Bigger. Blacker.
More uncut.
I don't care for that liquid effect.
Really?
Yeah.
I very much liked it.
Some people are saying like this is unnecessarily sexy.
That's fair.
Yeah, they did make it get wet.
This is why everybody thinks
And
it's a
then
mouse.
we're going to talk about that in a second. My only guess is that there had to be something in a leak that mentioned that there was going to be mouse.
Oh, snapping on the sides.
Yep.
Interesting. How much more is it?
We don't know what the price point is yet.
Oh, then why are people going around saying it's going to be $200 more?
Because everyone loves to speculate.
Yeah.
Is there a third trigger button?
There is, and it's being speculated that is a C button. No one knows what it is. There's a lot we don't know about it that people are talking about it with a lot more certainty than they should. My biggest thing right now is I just want to know how they connect to the console.
Yeah.
I know the one
Not me
thing.
seeing 2025 and being like, oh, next year?
It still feels like it, doesn't it?
Exactly. But no, like where they connect to the Switch, like
We'll be hearing more about it in April.
yeah, like I don't like that little shit that pops out from the.
I don't like that either.
I that makes me nervous.
Yeah. When this first dropped, literally the first thing I did was went to Twitter and I wrote kind of my first thoughts in some tweets. And I was like, I like the look. I like that it's bigger. I like the sleek black with like edged with color. But I'm really curious of what those Joy-Cons are going to be like.
Yeah.
Attaching to it, because it's like, if it looks like, if I had to guess, that is the magnet design. Because if y'all remember back about a year or two ago, I think, more like 2-3 years ago at this point, in an interview, I think Miyamoto or the manager or the president over the product design division, they talked about that one of the initial ideas for the Joy-Cons, instead of them sliding to the console, was to have them attached with magnets. So I'm wondering, to me, that was the first thing I thought of. And I was like, it seems like they might be going back to that. But with an animation like this, they put a lot of detail into it. So I'm assuming
they put a lot into showing off the different features and like what it's going to have and how it's going to be different.
right.
It's going to have water in it.
It has ethereal goo that's like venom that's just gonna kind of come out. And so yeah, I'm really curious to see what that is. We do have a direct April 2nd. So I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of information in about, 2-3 months time now?
Yeah.
2.5 months or so.
Also, peep the Mario Kart too that they were showing.
Mario
That's
Kart,
a
they were making sure to show
Mario
off.
Kart.
That's Mario Kart 9. We've known that's been in development for a while.
Yeah.
So I figured that was going to be when they did the second round of DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I was like, Mario Kart 9 is going to be
What the fuck is a LMAO?
Oh, you haven't seen that?
Why would I have seen this?
It was announced in one of the directs.
Why is the announcement for Alarmo longer than the Switch 2 announcement?
Because they go over everything with the alarm.
I don't need to know what the features of an alarm clock is.
They over explain it, honestly. It doesn't need to be 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes, but it is.
What separates it from just being an alarm clock?
It's Nintendo's alarm clock.
You have official Nintendo sounds to use. Jumping back to
why we need the Second Amendment.
Why are we still talking about the Alarmo?
Introducing
Jesus, Fluff. This is what his right to bear arms was made for, okay?
Introducing the iWake.
The iWake.
Put it next to your iFlush for a crazy interaction.
We're still not making that a thing. But jumping back to something that you brought up that I want to talk about, I have no idea why everyone is so certain the Joy-Cons are going to have a mouse feature. But I say that, I also did not read into any leaks that happened. So my biggest thing is I'm wondering if some of the leaks, either through Centro or some of the other bigger leakers out there, mentioned that the Joy-Cons are going to have a mouse design, and everyone is tying it to that animation because it does look like it could be a mouse. But
it looks like two mice.
It does look like two mice.
I was going to say, I think a lot of it probably just has to do with the animation. I haven't heard any of that until the trailer came out, and then I started seeing it everywhere.
All right, good. Then, because I was like, why does everyone think it's a mouse?
That doesn't make any sense.
Like, it would be interesting.
I don't think it would even be interesting.
Can we
then
go?
they would have to have a free-floating cursor feature on it, and unless it does full touchpad accessibility, it just doesn't make sense as a product feature.
Yeah, sorry, coworkers. I'm using my Switch controller today because my mouse doesn't have batteries right now. It's a Switch controller.
Can we go back? Is there a sensor on the inside that you can see or anything?
I was looking
let's go
for that.
Frame by frame. See all the liquid goodness.
No.
ASMR, sexy controller.
Plug in your controller.
As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's do this super slow.
That must be the port.
You're a frickin'.
Oh, it's still opening.
Yeah, it's still opening. So there's the little chip thing that plugs into the Joy-Con.
And then
the
what's
buttons,
that other
there's
thing?
Yeah, what
Other
is that
little
extra
buttons.
thing there? What?
There's another hole.
The little nubbin right there? Or
No.
There's
So if you
there's the part where it plugs into the controller, and right next to it there's a squarish, circularish.
Yeah, you'll see it here.
Let's see hither.
Towards the center, but to the
I see it.
To the left of that. Yeah. What is
and
that?
there's some metal in there.
There is some metal in there.
Let's see.
Don't
It's
you
the
move
headphone
too quickly.
jack. Come on.
I was gonna say it can't be.
That was another thing, though, is there is a headphone jack on the Switch.
Yeah.
And people are so happy.
Oh.
There's a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the Switch. They are not dealing with Apple's Bluetooth
on the Switch
only.
2 there is?
On the Switch 2, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You'll see it when they might have already showed it.
That one has
what
one
is
too.
that?
And I don't think.
Oh, is that just a motion thing?
It
Probably.
might be.
It might be.
That's weird.
That's a LED sensor. It could.
You know what? That makes sense because even with the, I don't know what it looks like on a regular. Actually, we have a Switch right there.
I'm scared
fair.
to bump.
That's fair. No, that's interesting.
Maybe
But
it's
what
for
I am noticing is
better
that
accuracy, maybe.
what I'm noticing is that those Joy-Cons have their LEDs on the side of the thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
it's
I'm
up here.
guessing. Yeah, so I'm guessing that is it's transferring that LED signal to the
Or no, back here. Sorry.
Joy-Con holders.
Down here.
Or
Right.
it's an optical sensor.
It could also be that for a
It
mouse.
could be an optical sensor
It
for
could
a
be
mouse.
that for the
know,
mouse.
That's the crazy innovation that Nintendo decides to bring to the Switch 2 is a mouse.
If there's
not just a mouse, but two mouse for Switch 2.
Two mice. If there's anything that they've shown is that they tend to put technology in their consoles and stuff that they can just activate whenever they want.
Yeah.
Like I think they did that with the first Switch, right? Where it was like, what was it with Bluetooth?
Bluetooth.
It was fully Bluetooth compatible when they dropped it, but then they just randomly announced, "Oh yeah, we're gonna update all of your Switches so that it's Bluetooth now." It's like, what?
Now that I'm looking at it
from the jump,
right? Now that I'm looking at it again, I wonder if these divots are what's holding it in.
Maybe.
And there's a thing that's going to be on the console itself.
And what's that thing right under that, like that circular part?
I believe that's probably I don't know because this is the shoulder button.
Yeah, unless they have two shoulder buttons.
Yeah,
they might have two.
There's additional like reset stuff, so it's.
Oh, I guess. Do they flip
There's
this around?
There's no way that's like.
I can. No, they're not. They're just not.
It wouldn't be comfortable.
It wouldn't be.
But why are they sliding them along the ground like this with these attachments?
Because they look like mice.
Because it's a cool animation.
Yeah, I think it's just an animation personally.
Animation purposes.
It's the same with them. Like when you put the Joy-Cons together, they look like a dog, and they used all dog imagery for the first Switch.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't really think. I don't know. I find it a bit of a stretch.
If my Switch doesn't drip blue on the left and red on the right when I pull out my controllers, and if it doesn't,
want it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, like laser carve.
That's such a nice little snap.
It is a really nice little snap.
If it doesn't laser carve as I pull out the kickstand, then I don't want it. Every time.
It's like it doesn't look like there's any notches or anything in there.
Yeah. Once again, that could just be because this is a 3D animation, but I think we're doing.
Wait, this is a 3D animation.
Yeah, wait, this isn't real?
What?
What? I mean, I guess we're doing the thing that everybody does of like we're speculating, and that's half the fun of it.
Yeah.
I could be like
we're fucking speculating.
Like, have you felt like the mag lock stuff? Like that's pretty secure when it's together, but I still feel like it would.
Right. Not like I said, that little notch, I don't know.
When I go piss baby on it, I want it to hold up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what
It took me a sec to get around to what you meant, that you did mean in the traditional video game sense of being a piss baby.
Yeah.
And not in the sense that we've gotten used to with you.
Don't say it like that.
It was the latter.
Right? Like
yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a
Oh, okay.
Is that a
I didn't notice those before actually.
That's a third button for
that is a third button for certain.
Is that just kind of like for when it's horizontal?
I don't know.
No, because if your fingers are wrapping around, you could probably.
Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Is it like when you hold it sideways? Is that like this?
That's a
meant to be ergonomic in that direction.
Maybe.
When you're mousing.
Yeah, when you're mousing, that could be the click button.
False. Inaccurate. Specious.
Oh, also the top. I think this is the bottom right now. This is where it gets docked, but there's a top USB-C port that I'm really happy to see because it makes so much more sense.
There's a top and bottom one, or just
there's a top and a bottom one.
Interesting.
Because like if you want to charge it, you either had to hold it the whole time. There's that 3.5.
Yeah. They made sure people saw that too.
Yeah. Like it didn't make a lot of sense because it meant you couldn't like rest it on your leg or your stomach or anything if you wanted to like charge it at the same time that you were playing because the USB-C cord was in the way the whole time.
Yeah.
What is
shoved
this?
into your crotch?
Yeah.
What is this animated in? It looks like CAD, but like everything's slicing. Like
Probably Cinema 4D.
I was thinking Cinema 4D as well. But yeah, that's the Switch 2. That's all we know for now. It was a little barely 2.5 minute fucking teaser. They just dropped it a Thursday morning.
And it was like right after the Donkey Kong HD trailer thing that they dropped. And
really?
People were memeing on it, and it's like, nobody cares about Donkey Kong. Where the fuck is Switch 2?
And then they dropped Switch 2.
Yeah. And they're like, you know what? Fine.
Here. You want it so
Take
bad? Here. Here. Since everybody wants it so bad all of a sudden.
Actually, I'm curious. What is Donkey Kong Country HD announcement like? What are those comments like? No, that's 2 weeks ago. Like, I think it's that one, right?
This one?
No, that was 1 month ago. It was like a week ago.
Just click on the channel.
I don't know.
That would make too much sense.
Nintendo of America. Yeah. Oh, damn. They've announced a lot of things since then, I guess. Yeah, that one.
This was the day after. No, this was the day before. Or day after. One of the two.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's still in slow motion.
Yeah.
But no, okay. Maybe it
was... this is the third time you've shown Donkey Kong Country Returns HD to the class. Oh, man.
It is true, though. But no, maybe it was just a Twitter thing. Like,
it might have been. But yeah, Switch 2. We can speculate from now until April 2nd. And I guess at that point we'll find out. So mark your calendars for that. We'll find out more about the Switch 2. I am very curious. I guess I really, it's mostly just like, how are those Joy-Cons going to work? Because after the launch of the Switch, when the Joy-Cons were the biggest pain point, and like that Joy-Con drift was at its fucking worst, I'm kind of looking at this and going like, ugh, I really want to see what that connection is. Because if it's magnets, I kind of don't want to be I don't want to be one of the first people with one, but we'll see. So look out for that. April 2nd. That is a Wednesday. Of course, it's going to be the day after we record.
After Ruben buys it, and I'll try it. I'll buy one.
That's fair.
We could all probably go in on one together, honestly.
No. That gets messy.
Fair.
Then we're fighting over custody, and we trying to figure out school districts. It's just not worth it.
Treated just like a kid. Which daddy are you going to go with for the weekend?
Speaking about going with things for the fucking weekend, this goddamn TikTok man was the weirdest thing to happen. Like,
I'm just disappointed.
It was supposed to happen. Everything was supposed to go dark on Sunday. It went dark at like 9 p.m. Saturday night.
Yeah.
And was back by like the morning of Sunday. Mm-hmm. Like, it was back on pretty early into Sunday, or was it Monday? One of the two.
Literally as the like goodbye TikTok videos started to float over to Facebook.
Yeah.
On Monday. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that happened. It was back.
Yeah.
I went back. I went to check that it had happened. Saw that it wasn't working. I was like, oh well.
Oh, that's a problem.
And then hours later, I think it was I saw Carter Vale's video. I can't remember if I saw that on Facebook or if I saw it on TikTok after I was like, oh, TikTok's back. I'll swipe for 5 seconds and then never touched it again.
It was chest day.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it was the dumbest thing. And then there's this. TikTok is like, thanks, President Trump.
So apparently, and this was only a video that I saw, like the first 10 minutes of it being down, it didn't say anything about President Trump or anything. But then after like 10 minutes, they changed the message to this. And then this is what the majority of people saw when they tried to go on TikTok after 9 o'clock on Saturday, up until like early in the morning on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then the message that they got on Sunday when it was back for people who logged in after everything went down, which means that pretty much anybody and everybody who has TikTok got this message.
I got the first one when it first went down, and it also mentioned Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like, we're excited that Trump is willing to work with us or something like that. And it was like, okay, I'm glad we have a 75-day reprieve. I say we, but like I'm glad there's now a 75-day reprieve on that ban. It's not unbanned, by the way. Everyone keeps saying TikTok is unbanned. No, there's now a 75-day grace period for it to get sold to somebody.
50%.
50% of it, yeah.
But beyond that, did we all just like forget Trump is the reason that we're in this fucking mess? Trump is the one who like posited that TikTok was a national security threat.
Yep.
I'm not going to praise Trump for fixing the problem he started.
It's ridiculous.
And not even fixing it, really.
Mm-hmm.
Really. It's like, I'm not going to praise the dude who set my house on fire for grabbing a garden hose and starting to put it out. Like,
yeah, it's honestly ridiculous. And I'm disappointed and just saddened because for a majority of people who just tuned out the entirety of this whole election cycle / politics in general, people who don't know anything about what's been going on in the politic area, who've just been on TikTok or whatever, like they're going to open TikTok and see, oh, President Trump brought back TikTok. Like, oh, thank you, Trump.
Maybe.
I don't know.
They might see that it's Kendrick Lamar. That's been like a real, like, that's been a thing going on of just going, thanks, Kendrick. Thanks for getting TikTok back for us, Kendrick.
What?
And like, that's been the thing going, and I'm like, you know what? I would rather thank Kendrick knowing he had nothing to do with this.
Yes.
It's like sitting down and writing an executive order or whatever the fuck he did after, like, we're in this fucking mess because you started it, Trump.
Knowing him, this is probably the whole plan the entire time. Knowing that he may lose to Biden, start this up, and then he loses. Oh, well, okay, now anything I do for the next 4 years is going to be pinned on him.
Yeah.
So that by the time he's about to head out and I'm about to come back in, if I do win, which he probably knew he would because, you know, he's Trump.
I think this should have never been an issue in the
This should never have been one, but here we are.
Have.
But there's a creator that, honestly, in the last days of TikTok I found, and he's been like one of my favorite creators going forward. This dude rants in the greatest ways. We're going to watch that.
Well, hello there, fine folks. I wanted to give it a full day before I really ran my mouth, but it's time we talk about TikTok being back. Because something feels off, especially with the sudden inclusion of a certain book of faces. And before not near another one of you ask, no, I will not be saying thank you to Nepotism Napoleon for saving TikTok. This is narcissism on a national scale, and some of y'all want us to say thank you? My not-so-fine friend, lay thine eyes on the field in which I grow my fucks, and you will find that it is barren. It's like you folks somehow forgot the TikTok bans first took flight way back in 2019 underneath the Fanta-fascists. Riddle me this, Red Hat Rockers. If a sumbitch purposely set fire to your house, would you want to say thank you if it was them that called 911? When you were just a little kid in class and a bully took your toy, did you say thank you when the teacher told him to give it back? Now, Mr. Bartender, you know good and well the same sumbitches you are speaking to are this story's bully. Look, that's a good point, ongoing made-up patron, but leave me alone. I got to proselytize. We just, as a whole, got gaslighted by our government on behalf of a goddamn grifter, and some of y'all want us to tell him good job. What kind of participation trophy for politics propaganda are y'all pushing? And Mr. Show, Sir CEO of TikTok, from me to you, I just want you to know you shot the trust of 170 million Americans in a single notification. When we opened this app to see you had his boot so far down your throat you couldn't see past his cankles, we all about called it quits. What do you mean we are proud to work with Pumpkin Spice Palpatine? He's the same sad, sorry sack that tried to put you in the street. You want this trust back, you got a long way to go. As far as I'm concerned, you ain't nothing but someone who licks boot. And to the rest of you not-so-fine folks falling in line behind the melon felon, did you learn nothing in high school history
His alliteration is on point.
I get
he has some of the best alliteration.
Taught by coaches who could care less if you learned anything as long as you passed, but did you never crack the book to even learn anything from our past? I swear it feels like in this dystopia's future, y'all are the same folks that'll be saying stupid shit like, you know, it's actually kind of smart that we have to sign up for a subscription-based sustenance plan. Anyways, that is my rant for the day. Clementine Caligula pulled a classic narcissist move. He made a massive mess just so he could come out the other side looking squeaky clean and a hero. Now, if you made it this far and you enjoyed what you saw, do me a favor and hit them buttons. Maybe even consider becoming a member. If not, that is perfectly okay, and you have you a wonderful day. You can catch me live at 6 if you need another fix. PM Central Time, that is. Anyways, y'all keep the motherfucking boots out of your motherfucking mouth. And remember that the golden rule will always remain yeehaw, fuck the law. I love y'all. I'll see you down the line.
This guy is the reason I don't care to censor myself in content.
He's got like the straightest beard hair I've ever seen.
He really does, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. That beard is glorious. That's
pretty good, pretty impressive.
If you didn't watch that for some odd reason, we have video, y'all. It was that is from the Pissed Off Bartender. We were looking at it specifically on YouTube. I found him on TikTok actually. Mm-hmm. At this point, I'm just gonna keep exploring Red, whatever the fuck. Red Note. Mm-hmm. And either it's because I don't know, most creators have already started migrating over to it. And at this point, you know what? Kind of fuck TikTok now. Like part of me understands like you're gonna brown nose up to the only person that can actually do anything about this. And then there's the other part of me that's like, fuck that. Like, like don't make us pretend like he's saving the day when he caused it. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, as far as fucking moving from shit too, I am starting the process of moving over from X to Blue Sky. It's like I'm checking out Blue Sky and it's basically just Twitter again. So it's like, you know what? Most everybody has a Blue Sky. Most of the creators have a Blue Sky now. I'm finding all their posts. There are tools out there to help migrate over to it. So I think I'm just going to do that and do the best I can to just not get on X and Twitter anymore. Because at this point, I don't want to keep supporting the fucker.
It's becoming slowly a cesspool of...
Slowly. It's been a cesspool.
It was born a cesspool.
Of political nonsense, honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, this TikTok bullshit is the most... What the fuck are we even doing? Mm-hmm. Like, banned, not banned, 75-day reprieve. So I guess we'll see what happens in, what is it, about 2.5 months or so?
Yeah.
I mean, if it takes that long.
If it even takes that long, we'll see. We'll probably hear about Elon or the Zuck buying it up and it getting folded into either Meta or X, one of the two. And at that point, I'm going to be more than happy not to be on it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll immediately die because nothing one of them know how to handle it.
Unfortunately, Facebook is alive and thriving, and so is X.
Yeah, that's true. I just saw a thing.
As much as I want to believe that they will go under,
I don't think they're going to go under, but I would say they're thriving.
Meta, I'm going to say Facebook, I think, is thriving. X, that's a bit more discussion. That's a bit more debate. It's a bit more debatable.
Debatable?
Yeah.
I know they just announced, I just saw a thing where it was like they're adding essentially TikTok mode to X, where like it's a new button at the bottom, and then you can just swipe as if you were on TikTok. So I wouldn't say that I don't think Elon would probably buy TikTok. He'd just rather make his own. And then Zuck
already has Instagram. Reels. He has Instagram and the Reels already.
So I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Already having a thing of your own has never stopped any of these corporations from acquiring others of the same style. If it makes money, it makes money, and they're just going to do that. And at this point, I would probably be happier just not associated with any of it. But perfect time for us to be trying to grow a brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. With Blue Sky, some of these newer social platforms popping
up. That one, that's what's keeping me going.
I mean, like, we could start somewhere else and that's at the beginning phases of certain platforms.
That's kind of the idea. Is I'm just going to start putting stuff out there on some of these other platforms and see what else is out there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that whole mess is going on and we'll see where it goes from here. Mm-hmm. I want happier news. Amazing World of Gumball is getting a season 7.
Yes. Woo! Season 7 of the Amazing World of Gumball.
Emphasis on amazing.
Sometime this year. But I think I saw on Cartoon Network it's going to be dropping.
I would hope so.
Yep. And it's going to be good. And it should pick up, I read, pretty much right after the cliffhanger, because it was a cliffhanger of season 6. So...
What was the season 6 cliffhanger?
Spoilers. Basically, like, the whole school...
Whoopsie, dude. Sorry about that.
This closes everything.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Basically, this whole school gets sucked up by a black hole.
I don't think I've seen this. Holy shit.
Pretty much. I gotta rewatch it again, too, but once I saw that, like, it's a continuation of after this, I was like, oh, yeah, that did happen.
Is it the one with Terry? Or was that a different... No, that was when boring shit got sucked up by the retcon.
Yeah, no, this was with the what was his name? It was the store clerk guy, but he wasn't the store clerk guy because he was like from another dimension type.
Dude. The dude who's everything. He runs every job in Elmore.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a minute.
That's fair.
Since we watched Gumball, but
sounds like I need to catch up on Gumball. Actually, I missed some.
It did end up on a cliffhanger, and it did seem like there was supposed to be more, but they just stopped.
Really? Okay.
So I'm glad that it said it's going to pick up right after that, and it's going to be 40 episodes, which seems like a lot, but each episode of Gumball is technically just 10 minutes, like a regular like Cartoon Network show.
It'll be 20, 30-minute run times.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Which honestly, most people probably know and expect. We're just so used to like the shows we watch now being and running like 20, 25 minutes now.
Right, because you said 40-minute episodes, and like without like subconsciously, I'm thinking of anime episodes.
Yeah.
Which are like an episode is a single runtime. So like one episode of an anime is the full 20-minute runtime. Mm-hmm. And it's like, damn, that seems like a lot. Oh wait, no. When you split those in half and you have 2 of those per runtime, then yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
That's what we're assuming. They could totally be not doing that.
They could just go fuck it and just like 40-hour-long feature-length episodes,
which would be great.
That would be kind of hilarious.
The writing stays and like the direction that they've been going with it is continuous. Like I don't know, it could be bad, right? We're hopeful that it isn't, but you know it's been a while, so it's totally possible that. Yeah, like I gotta look. I didn't actually look at that. I probably should have, but it could be new directors, new writing, new animation style. Hopefully it isn't.
I wonder about the voice cast too.
The voice cast has grown up a bit, and I think the Gumball's voice actor got in trouble, like a little bit ago.
Wait, really?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, for saying some. Don't quote me on this. It was a while ago when I saw this. Some potentially racist comments, just offhanded stuff, like not on record or anything, but just like, you know, in hanging out with friends or something, said some things that got him in some hot water. I don't know exactly, but that's what I remember seeing when I like watched some videos and looked up a couple things like a year or 2 ago.
The voice actors once before, so.
Yeah, they've done that quite a few times, especially towards the beginning of the show run they did. But I wouldn't be surprised if they had new voice actors now for this season, because it has been a minute.
It's been a minute.
But yeah, we're excited about that because Gumball is a great show if you have not seen it yet. It ran on Cartoon Network for I don't know how long. It had a good run, 6 seasons.
It's been on a minute. Yeah.
What is it on right now?
The clip shows on YouTube are pretty fun.
What do you mean? What is it on right now?
Like what streaming platform it's on? If you have a streaming platform, is it on Netflix?
Probably Cartoon Network.
Oh, do they have their own stream? They probably do. They probably do.
Yeah, they have their own, I think.
Well, yeah, go check it out because it's really great.
Yeah, no, Amazing World of Gumball is fantastic. It has been one of my favorite shows to come out of Cartoon Network. It's right up there with it's up there with I want to say Amazing World of Gumball.
It's right up there with the Amazing World of Gumball.
Now, another fantastic show you should go watch. No, it's up there with Adventure Time. Adventure Time, Chowder, Billy and Mandy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Tom and Jerry. Like it to me, it instantly became a classic. Like it is a classic show. It's so great.
And it's one of those shows, like there's a lot of the shows he just listed have like, you know, they're on Cartoon Network, sure, but sometimes the subject matter is somewhat serious and they make jokes, but they deal with certain, subjects a certain way. Like they call it out, and their characters go through stuff, and it's a cartoon show, and it's cute, funny, haha. But sometimes they deal with serious stuff, and it's interesting the way that they go about it. And if it's not serious, then it's just, I don't know, adult more like stuff, like adult jokes, but adult shit sometimes.
One of my favorite. Have you guys seen the fucking clip where the balloon's eating the vegetables?
Yeah.
The what? Sorry?
The balloon is eating.
Alan.
Yeah.
I have no idea why they thought that was necessary to fucking animate.
I'm surprised it went through, honestly.
Well, it's the
and then the fact that clip ends off with the little kid going, "How did you talk the whole time?
If you were talking the whole time,
how did you eat that?" No questions, kiddo.
And then the kid tries to get him to eat a fucking pineapple, and Alan is like, "No."
Alan has such a cursed existence.
A lot of the characters actually.
They do. You're right. They do. Alan's girlfriend is a fucking cactus.
Yeah. That's right. Yup. I was like, wait. No, yep, absolutely.
There's the paper girl who's a hypochondriac.
There's a flower character who's just a flower. And that has its own problems.
When he has to,
And then one of them is a 3D T-Rex that, like, in almost every shot is just too big for the frame.
Way too big for the goddamn frame.
So it's just the legs.
Then, oh my god.
Ear inside of a peanut shell.
She's a something.
They really don't make it very clear what, I can't remember her name is.
Penny
is.
Which is technically a spoiler, but whatever. You'll get there.
It's been out a minute.
I've seen clips of Penny and
Penny doesn't have her shell
because
she finally broke out of her shell.
That doesn't happen until like
you've seen this episode.
5 or 6.
It was like 4 or 5. It might have been like
quite a bit in like 2016, and I haven't really touched it since. So I'm sure I missed out on a lot.
I think I did my last binge in like 2017 or 2018.
Yeah,
like it was well understood. Like she's completely out of her shell, and so she still has the antlers, but now it's like whatever kind of creature she is a weird shape shifting creature or whatever the fuck. What they are makes no sense. Are they coconuts? Are they peanuts? Are they ethereal angelic beings that no one understands?
It's not like Sebastian the Cloud guy. If I remember that right,
is his name Sebastian?
I know there's Tobias.
Tobias, that's his name.
Oh yeah, you are talking about Tobias.
I'm talking about Tobias.
Tobias, yeah.
It's not like Tobias's character makes any more sense.
He really doesn't. He's just a rainbow cloud, and so is his mom and sister, but they have more defined shape to them.
Yeah,
they have actual faces, and his dad does, and he's just an amorphous cloud.
And then there's Carrie the ghost.
Darwin's
girlfriend for a few seasons.
Like, are they still a thing or not?
I don't know.
Okay. There's the actual cloud. I forget what her name is. And her mom's a fucking anime character with Nicole Waters. They did that whole anime callback episode.
The callbacks and the references in the show are god tier.
I mean, just through the cast of characters, it's already a callback to every animation style. Like there are claymations. There's a literal ball of clay that can shapeshift into different stuff. There's 2D animation, 3D animation, stop motion. That was like one of the first things that got me into Gumball.
Yeah, just the diversity of animation styles and how smoothly they blend everything.
They blend it so smooth, and that has to take so much pre-production.
Frankly brilliant.
It makes it hard to criticize it.
The girl that's just an upside down chin.
Then there's her, Sussy.
Sussy.
Wait. The who?
Her name. So it's somebody's mouth, and they're like upside down. They have the googly eyes.
I forgot all about her. Oh my!
And so, because I was about to bring up, like, oh yeah, there is a live action person in the show. It's Sussy.
It's their chin.
Yeah. And she is an interesting character to say the least. Gumball is fan-fucking-tastic, and it has been one of my favorite things for a long time.
And they go into all those characters too, and the different episodes. Like almost every character has had at least like 2 or 3 episodes around them.
Yeah.
It's not just about Gumball. It is about his world and the people that live in it. Like,
to the point that they
focus
had
on
2 episodes about the world of Gumball. The Amazing World of Elmore. Those 2 episodes, which were really good. Yeah, no, this show, like, I wouldn't even say it really tackles anything serious. It definitely makes more adult jokes.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's funny enough. This show actually doesn't stray too much into like trying to do like moral lessons and shit like that. Like it really just like
it really is. For most of what I watched, it is mostly just a really funny time.
It's just fun, funny hijinks ensuing kind of thing going on.
I guess it depends on how you take it, I guess.
Well, and there's an episode. I remember an episode at least once about Darwin being adopted. That had some heavy stuff, but the stuff that I remember is
most of the stuff you remember is the funny stupid shit for sure. Most definitely. I know I say that like there's some serious stuff. It is very few and far between. I just remember being impressed when those moments. I can't recall exactly what the problem was, what episodes those were, but I do remember being impressed enough to remember that like, okay, this can tackle serious stuff in an unserious way,
unseriously,
unseriously, but non-offensively, if that makes sense, because of just how the characters are, how the show is. You understand things,
right?
But I don't know. I just remember having that thought.
And then sometimes the day it goes Ultra Instinct, and
and then you're like, oh yeah, this is that show. Actually.
Oh yeah, this is Gumball. That's right. That's right. But yeah, so I guess we'll be looking out for that for the as sometime this year. But speaking of other shows, and I know we don't have it in the docket though, we started. So we knew Apothecary Diary started airing. I had no idea Solo Leveling. Started, and so we ended up watching that. Yeah, you were. So we ended up sitting down and watching that back on.
It was so fucking cool.
It was such a cool episode.
Such a good
job.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the dub.
Oh, that's right. You're waiting for the dub.
But you can talk about it. I'll watch it eventually.
I'm not going to talk a lot about it. It was just the first episode. It's just a fight, and it's just to remind you how fucking cool. What's his name? Jingwoo Soo?
Yeah,
Jinwoo?
Yeah.
Jinwoo.
I
don't remember what his
Jinwoo Sung. There it is.
That sounds right, but I know it's Jinwoo. I don't know what.
Yeah. Jinwoo Sung.
Yeah.
But it reminds you that he's the most badass motherfucker right now, and he literally faces off with some ice. Like it's literally a 1 episode thing. There is no ambiguity. There is no, oh my God, will they make it out of this? No. He's gonna be a badass, and he's gonna badass all over this scene. And he badasses in a really cool way.
In a really badass way.
In a really badass way. He summons his shadow army from the last season, and
because he can do that now.
Yeah.
Idris,
is it Idris?
Yeah, Idris. I remember
Idris
Idris or Idris.
I was sitting there saying it too.
But no, I was literally
Ingris.
It made me want to go back and reread some of those, go through some of those panels again, because I was having flashbacks like to the comic as we were watching it, and I was like, I remember reading this. I was like, this like.
I was gonna ask you. You were really high, and so I was like, I'll ask him later. But I was like, is like that animation doing justice the way you would hope it would?
Yeah.
I
remember sitting there and feeling that impact in the animation and being like, this is everything you want. Because you go through and you read that shit, and the panels, if they're cut together effectively, they have an impact. Taking that and having it putting it into motion, taking that visual, that like vision, and then just takes the impact to like the next level. It's just so fucking cool.
It reminds you why you want anime adaptations of stuff, and why you want like movie versions. I want to see this animated because this is so cool. And I say that as someone who didn't read the manga or manhwa. Like, it was such a cool thing just to introduce you back into the world of Solo Leveling.
Yeah, honestly, there was like I was sitting there and I was in awe of how cool I thought it was, and I was like, I don't know how much of this is because I'm just really high,
or because this is actually fucking sick.
As fucking sick as I think it is.
But I was wondering. I was curious to see what your reaction would have been had I stayed. because I knew you were high, and I knew this was like one of your favorite series, and I was like, oh, he's probably gonna enjoy this.
Like, I'm just amazed. I had no idea that was dropping in January.
There was an announcement about a couple months ago, but like I don't know. I just saw the announcement, and it was just like, sometime beginning of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, expect that. And then I think for like the last month, they've just been putting it at the top of Crunchyroll as like, just think. But I think they do that with a lot of different shows that maybe have a second season coming out soon. But I don't know. That's why it was on my radar, because it just kept showing up as like, what's the hot thing right now? And it is hot.
We're going to do something right quick, by the way, because I was looking into a thing. Y'all can keep talking. I'm just going to be sputzing around with the...
Okay. I should check on Slime, too, because that kind of happened with the latest season of Slime for me as well, where I was like, I love Slime so much, and then all of a sudden there was another season, and I was like, oh, shit. Gotta watch me that.
Yeah, I don't know how Crunchyroll does their shit, but like pretty much like the first like 3 shows that pops up every time I log in have been getting new seasons like within the last like
which would make sense. They're gonna push you the new thing,
right?
We might have lied to you, dog.
Why? What?
What day are they
got
airing?
a dub now.
Yeah, I was gonna say the dub might be okay.
Now
it just started. Started.
It's gonna be a couple episodes behind. I'm not surprised.
Makes sense. Okay, because I was like, I don't remember there being a dub when we sat down.
Wasn't.
When was the 18th? What's the day? The 21st, 20th,
somewhere in there.
So the day you were over, episode 1 dub would have been out.
No, because I saw it when you guys went to it.
And it said just sub only?
Yeah, it may have popped up maybe later that night.
It might have literally popped up right after you left, one of the two.
I wouldn't be... Or the Sunday. It could have happened Sunday, because sometimes they update on Sunday.
Fair.
But...
Yeah, I just looked at it.
We wouldn't have been able to watch both episodes.
Yeah, you still had to been able to watch the one, but it would have been enough.
I'm honestly surprised that they didn't simulcast it, because I think a lot of the shows that they're doing now are trying to do that.
I don't know. I believe in sub supremacy.
Sub is cool. I don't know.
That's a crazy line to just say out of context.
Clip it.
Yeah, no, clip it because it makes no sense.
No, it makes all the sense.
It makes no... Sub supremacy is not supposed to happen.
Hey, but it could.
Yeah, fair enough.
You got some subs out there? Come on now. Come on.
I mean, I love a good sandwich.
Yeah, Subway's top tier.
I mean, I love
like
to
those,
be aquatic.
Not
Jimmy
like
John's.
those dirty hoagies.
I love being in a nuclear submarine.
The yellow one in particular.
You already did aquatic. Failed.
I love the name.
I wasn't sure. Well, I was thinking more of the phrase like subaquatic.
Oh,
I wasn't sure if it would be enough to convey the sub pun.
Well, the fun.
So I felt like doubling down.
The fun part is only you would have thought subatomic, subaquatic when you say.
I love quantum mechanics.
Oh hell yeah! But yeah, no. Solo Leveling's looking pretty dope. Episode 4 came out fucking super recently because that was not out the night we watched it. But it's out now.
It's 3.
So
3. Yeah.
No, when I just looked at that, there was 4 episodes.
There was 3 episodes.
There was 4 episodes. I refuse to believe y'all. I refuse to believe y'all. I actually refuse. Hold on. I
refute 3 witnesses.
That was.
I don't give a fuck.
No, everybody else who's watching this episode can also tell you.
No, they can't because this isn't being recorded.
Oh, because it's not on the computer.
This isn't running on my PC.
Well, they just drop another one within the time.
There's just a new episode right there. There's just a new episode would be so fucking funny. Oh, man.
Yeah.
See? 4.
Huh?
Fuck y'all. There's 4 right there.
By the time this episode comes
out,
yeah.
there's gonna be 4 up there, so they're gonna be on my side. So fuck y'all.
No. Don't you edit this. Don't you dare edit this.
I don't have to edit it. It's just gonna be up there. Oh my god. I don't know why I saw 4. Why did I see 4? Anyway, Solo Leveling's looking dope. Apothecary Diaries, that's getting started up. There's not a lot going on right now. You're just kind of reintroducing yourself to your fan favorites. Mm-hmm. Mau Mau's being Mau Mau. They have a cat now. Named Mau Mau.
Have we encountered the metal melting in the plot yet?
Yeah, that was in season 1.
Okay.
The whole puzzle thing, because the carpenter's sons have to figure out the thing. Yeah, that was season 1, where you found out that this metal melts and when you shine the sun at a very particular angle into the keyhole.
Yeah.
Which I don't think would work that way. I think you could just shine light across it and it would do what it needs to do. But
which is weird because like most of that show is seemingly accurate.
It seems real accurate. I guess when you concentrate a beam of light into something, it could.
It's just an alloy of metal that melts at very low temperature.
Yeah, but they very specifically call out that it's a very low temperature, that sunlight is enough to melt it. So it's like you wouldn't need to concentrate the beam, but I get what you're getting at. But yeah, so that happened. That was one of the last things to happen in season 1, I think.
Did we encounter the beam?
Yes, that also happened in season 1.
Okay.
Beam.
He's self-censoring for spoilers by possible chance.
I was self-censoring because it is the climax of that.
What's really funny is you said, did we encounter the beam? And no one would know what that meant if they didn't see it already.
That's why I said that.
Yeah. It's like to cover it up and you don't talk about it, only to then give a non-spoiler version of it.
Look, I don't know what's coming through on your mic. All right, I just want to make double sure. All right.
He says the beam. My mic picks up the full episode.
Do you want us to retake that whole thing and we all cover our mics and then?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. God damn that's right. Yeah. God damn it. Oh, you might just have to hold your mic for this one, buddy. Or if we try to fix it.
I was just wondering because that's as far as I read.
Okay. Yeah. No, We'll take a break.
We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Technical difficulties. So yeah.
So I had to order a new new mic arms. This one gave the fuck out for some reason.
He just gave up.
Yeah, I think we've been having problems with this just off camera.
Yeah.
And finally it decided to act up on camera. So
in fairness, they were like $20, so $20 a piece.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be holding on to this for the rest of the episode.
So if this audio sounds extra fucked up, you know why. It just kind of is what it is.
Playing it like a
fucking saxophone, like a skin flute
or a
saxophone,
clarinet type shit. Yeah, exactly.
Right. What were we even talking about a second ago? Not important. Oh yeah, Apothecary Diaries is great. Solo Leveling is great. Anime is kind of going nuts right now, so keep up with that.
I don't watch that kid stuff.
Cartoons are for children.
Show them Evangelion.
Show them hentai.
Speaking of hentai,
show them.
I guess the console wars are over.
Well, okay, so
I said console wars are over. Shut up! Quit thinking about it. Shut up, Fluffy. Quit thinking about it. You're thinking about it. Stop thinking about it.
I think he's still thinking about it.
He's still thinking about it. Stop thinking about it, Fluffy.
You did such a bad transition.
Quit thinking about it, Fluffy.
You didn't even get the transition right.
See, this is the problem. You're thinking about it. That's why you think the transition wasn't right. Because you're thinking about it. You have to stop thinking about it.
Fucking move on.
We did this in like episode 43 too.
You decided to make it a fucking thing.
Yes!
It's the thing now.
It's kind of the thing, like he told you in episode 43.
It's never gonna not get me though.
It's gonna be the thing.
Especially when you can't even do it.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
Speaking of hentai, the conciliation wars are over.
Okay, fair enough. I said council. I did not say conciliation.
I know, but it was still the wrong fucking word.
Reconciliation wars.
It's not that far of a jump, honestly.
Well, fuck y'all. I'm the editor. So speaking of hentai, I'll just restart this bitch. You can't control me. Oh man. So Microsoft is ready to launch its flagship Xbox game series Halo on rival platforms for the first time, including PlayStation and Nintendo Switch 2. Have you read into this? I know this is blasted at us by IGN, so I'm assuming there's some validity to it, but
that's why it caught my eye, because people will speculate all day long.
What are you doing over there?
Halo on Nintendo?
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I looked into it a little bit, and I was looking at comments and looking at like some other articles, and I don't know. I don't think that it's been something that Xbox is like, yes, we're going to do this, but I think it has been something that, like this Xbox employee was talking about this and that, and then, kind of connecting dots to the point where it seems like they may do something.
Sorry, one sec. What the fuck was that?
I'm just detecting the location of the draft.
What?
It starts right here.
Our house is
And then
not the most
here.
secure against drafts.
Those clearly draft. There's like a cold flow of air coming over. You can probably tell I've been doing
He
something
did
like
it
this
earlier, and I was like,
whole
"Oh, he's
time.
feeling a draft," because he like put his hand up. He was feeling like near the wall.
Yeah.
He just like metal detected his hand over his coat at the end of the couch, and then just brought it back. Like,
To be fair, it's probably like 1 degree outside right now.
oh, it might not even be that. I think I was looking at it earlier. It was like 4 degrees outside. Felt like -13.
My car was really struggling to start.
Really? Ugh.
Yeah, the battery was not having a good time.
Yeah.
But it's catching my little ADHD brain,
Yeah.
and it's making me.
I think the best part is the camera only catches like up to the forearm. Not even the forearm, I mean the bicep. So there's just going to be like
So
you
just
just
like-
reaching up and then bringing back. And it's like, what the fuck is he doing over there? Oh, man. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
He says we're good. He hates us on the inside.
He's so pissed.
Like 10 years
Righteous
ago,
fury.
this was a joke. It was like,
Yeah,
I'm
the
here
idea-
I need to buy a GameCube so my grandson can play
The
Halo.
Halo, right?
Yeah, like I said, like when I read the article, I didn't really like super like actually like reread it, but
I've
like
just skimmed through it.
skim through it, go to the last paragraph, and it was basically like, because they're switching to Unreal 5 for Halo, it's going to be easier for them to be able to like port it or like create games that are cross-platform now.
Mm-hmm.
And with
I never
Xbox
thought that was
and-
the issue.
Well, I didn't either. But with like Xbox and Microsoft essentially like losing money to like PlayStation and Sony,
Yeah.
the writing seems like it's on the wall.
That it's time to hang up the Xbox.
Yeah, or make that jump. But then obviously that's like a big jump. Like with the flagship, title for Xbox being Halo, that's basically like Xbox giving up to PlayStation, Sony.
Right.
So it's not confirmed, but there's just been a lot of discussion around it, and it seems like maybe there's something in circulation that could potentially
I
happen.
personally don't think it's the craziest move for Microsoft to make.
Well, the console wars are much less of a thing now than they were.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I've been seeing this around, and the sentiment has really been like we are all over we're just over the whole console war thing.
I
Like,
just want to play the game.
I just want to play my games. I want to
Right.
play the games and have a good time. I'm an adult, and I don't have time to do it anyway. I don't want to have to shell out 3 mortgages on different consoles because everyone has to have their exclusive bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm kind of the same way too. Like, I haven't thought about the console wars since, I don't know the last time, but like this is when I saw this, I thought back on it. I was like, you know what? That's kind of crazy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, it does make sense that they would end in a wet fart versus
yeah,
like.
But I mean, consoles to me seemed like they were kind of like an affordable way to play games without having to buy a whole PC.
And now
they're
we've
not
completely
affordable.
switched it
Flip-flops.
because now they're not as affordable, and PCs and like good gaming PCs have gotten so much cheaper. And if the RTX 50 series is gonna hold up as they say, it's about to become even cheaper. Like you can get a AAA gaming powered GPU for $500, well $550 technically, but like you can get that in a PC. Like we're gonna start seeing PCs, like AAA gaming PCs, going for like $800-900. Like at this point, it's so easy to get a PC that it made, especially with them already having the Game Pass that just pretty much comes pre-installed with Windows at this point. It just made more sense. It makes a lot of sense for them to focus more on putting out games and dropping out. I guess not necessarily dropping out of the console war if they're going to make this stuff cross platform, but that's just leaving money on the table to not trying to make everything exclusive. Just leaves a lot of money on the table.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna. The games aren't going to be as motivating to drive sales when consoles are that cheap. But yeah,
so
the only reason I'm probably going to buy the Switch 2 is because Switch has got the mobility factor that other consoles they're not even trying to compete with.
Yeah.
What about the Steam Deck?
Well, the Steam Deck, yeah, you're right, and
Which
can technically play Switch games. It can emulate Switch games.
That should just light itself on fire. Oh,
it has water in it. It can't do that.
how much is?
What?
I don't know why that made me so mad.
You were real mad about those graphics.
I didn't care for the liquid effect.
You really didn't.
But for a second there, I was like, wow, the Steam Deck is water cooled? Oh, that's so fucking cool. And then I was like, wait, nope, it's just a callback to the fact that I don't like the water effects. And then it reminded me of the water effects. And then it reminded me of the fact that it was a joke at my expense. And then I got mad.
What were you saying, Izzy?
Do you know how much the Steam Deck is?
$4.99, I think.
Okay.
Might even be $3.99.
That's basically a PC.
More or
I mean,
less.
you can only play Steam with it, really, but
Yeah. It's running off Linux, and you can play it for up to 6-ish hours. And it might burn you every once in a while, but
can you hook it up to like a monitor?
I believe you can. I don't fully know. I never got a Steam Deck. I've never had a reason to get a Steam Deck. I'm just not in the audience for a Steam Deck.
Speaking of Steam games, I played Hyper Light Breaker over the weekend.
Did you?
I did. I picked it up.
Everybody hates it.
I was pretty disappointed.
Really?
Yeah.
Supposedly it's the pre-release or early release.
It's the pre-release, it's the early release. There might be significant changes, but as somebody who really, really liked Hyper Light Drifter, going to that game felt a lot more like they were using Hyper Light, the Hyper Light Drifter as a marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, but like a different game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3D as opposed to like 2D.
It's 3D as opposed to 2D. That's fine, but it felt like putting a Hyper Light Drifter skin on Risk of Rain, and then adding some different mechanics. And then even then, I think that it's trying to do some of the things that Risk of Rain does without being as good or as satisfying at it.
That's very interesting you say that, because I don't have a lot of experience with either series.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem like similar enough series to be calling Breaker the sequel to Drifter.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have just gone with a new IP.
I would have loved to see it. Well, I would have come on with different expectations if it was a new IP. But a lot of the things that made Hyper Light Drifter such a fun game, for me at least, first of all, it's almost all skill. Right. With the core ability set that you start the game with is really tight. It works really well together. And if you don't touch any upgrades for the entire game, you can comfortably play through the whole game. And oftentimes you could say optimally play through the whole game with that core, just the sword that they give you at the start and just the gun that they give you at the start. Mm-hmm. They're really strong. They work really well together. And then if you want to expand and challenge yourself, you can start to get into some of the charge attacks, some of the other things that add some more complexity and some more flavor and some different things, but you don't need it. And they've traded a lot of that simplicity for depth in the combat system. Right. Because they wanted to do a roguelike where you're gradually building stuff up and you're upgrading things. It felt like they just took that core set and they just kind of gutted it, and now you got to upgrade shit. And so coming in and expecting that same satisfying, impactful combat, it just isn't there. It feels like you're underpowered most of the time. You're overwhelmed with like the enemies. I mean, that's often the case at the beginning of roguelikes, but that wasn't what at least was Hyper Light Drifter was about. The other thing was the repeatability of combat encounters. A lot of the times those combat encounters were really high difficulty, but you would die and you go back, you die, you go back, you die, you go back. Just that repetition. Like, I wouldn't say I'm super skilled at Hyper Light Drifter, but I would say that I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
And I would still get knocked out, and a lot of those things.
Kind of like Elden Ring, well, the whole Souls-like stuff.
Yeah, and I just go back then, run through stuff until you get better. And when you do accomplish those things, it's very satisfying. And instead, it feels a lot more like throwing yourself at least for me, it felt a lot more like throwing myself at a brick wall. It got to a point where I, like, over the weekend, I started to get a little bit better at it. And then yesterday, I tried to hop on and like do like an hour or so. And I just put it down because I was getting really mad. Because like I would encounter like a really small group of like manageable enemies whose mechanics I had figured out. And who I had kind of figured out how to handle, and then I would just get fucking wrecked because I missed one dodge, or I missed one enemy that came from the side and then took out half my fucking health. And
That's where games start to feel kind of like bullet hells, and it's a thing that I don't like in some ways. Like, I can understand it with Souls, like, where the idea is I don't mind so much just building the skill of recognizing the move that's about to hit you and being able to recognize, like, what does this windup look like? What does this kind of thing look like, right? But I don't like one mistake just derails everything, and your now is just done. And to me, that was the reason I don't like bullet hells. If you're not on top of those patterns the whole time, almost like a fucking dance sequence, you get like one misstep and you're fucking wrecked, and that's just it. And I've never liked that. So to hear that's kind of what they switched from, where it went from, I guess I don't really know what the boss combat was like in the first one.
Boss combat's like, yeah.
I said boss by accident. I know you didn't mention boss, but whatever that combat was like in Hyper Light Drifter, it sounds like it was much more the skill of recognizing what was happening in the combat and being able to react. It's much more about your reaction time to that rather than just remembering the dance of the combat, which is what it sounds like in Breaker.
Yeah, and I mean, I would be curious to see what other people, because I haven't really looked at other reactions to it. But it's definitely, it feels a lot more like they put Hyper Light on there as a more of like to get people through the door than it is to like. Which, in fairness, they're an indie company, aren't they? Yeah, you kind of got to do what you got to do to stay profitable. Fair enough. But but there are some elements that I do like seeing some of those things realized in 3D is pretty cool. Or like some of those like UI elements become 3D. Your little floating guy, it's fun. But at the same time, seeing some of those things realized in 3D is also kind of sucks.
Doesn't quite meet that expectation.
Like the simplified some of the simplified UI, or not UI, the simplified pixel art leaves a little bit up to the imagination. And then taking that into a simplified 3D, like for instance, I don't know if it's just the texture artist in me, or if from an outsider perspective it actually looks appealing, but like some of the tech textures they have are very clearly just a sphere mask floating along these like 3D things where there's grid lines moving, and it just looks to me like, to my eye, it's just very garish and doesn't capture that same like mysterious like technical things. It looks like a kind of a crappy baby's first tech texture. And then there's the other big element, at least for me, with Hyper Light Drifter, was exploration. Those maps had secrets all over the fucking place.
In Drifter?
In Drifters, yes. Yeah, and you would just waddle around for hours after you kill the enemies, you'd waddle through a space and you'd run against every single fucking wall. And you try to find, and then you would find stuff on a regular basis. in these maps, and they would give you upgrade points and additional combat encounters. You could unlock further areas. There was a lot of depth in that exploration.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and so they try to attain a certain amount of this, but in creating a map that resets on a regular basis, it ends up being more like it's sorting through a field of like things are very clearly just like sprinkled across the map, and it really feels like that. It doesn't feel like you're encountering some like secret that's buried in like the depths of a really interesting, well-designed level. It's like, oh, here's that, something like they had these plinths, for example, that were really, really hard to find, to the point where there was a room where you could go to like review them. And if you wanted to go to that room, even that like map area was in like this very secret, like quarantined off, like sectioned area where you had to hunt for it. I don't remember if I ever find my way there originally, or if I had to watch a tutorial, or I was watching somebody play it before I discovered where it was. And then they were associated with these like lore, like obelisks, and you would find these throughout the area. Those obelisks are just like out on the ground, right? And you get a certain amount of lore points, and then those lore points end up contributing to like different things, and it feels like it washes out a lot of what made Hyper Light Drifter. How do you fucking use that hoverboard? Anyways, but yeah, I am still also just it's very early on for me, but it's not grabbing me in the same way that Drifter did, and I'm wondering
how long has Breaker been in development, or at least was in development?
We originally saw some stuff for it a couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, the first like
if you pause for a second, just something like if you look down there, you see those two bars.
Yeah,
those are your dodge. That's your dodge counter. One of the real fun fucking things about Hyper Light Drifter that was infinite. As long as you got the timing right, you just boop, 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 boop. There's a little arena where you could do that, just like do it and go in a circle. And one of the upgrade like MacGuffins is only unlocked if you do 100 of those laps in a row. Now you only get 2. So that
the play bar is over it right now, but he's talking about these 2 things right here.
Yeah, those 2 things. Like a lot of things like that just feel kind of like a kick in the gut, right? The fact that your weapon always had like really solid recognizable damage, like that enemy I think you can see right there.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's another player. It is something I want to do. Is I would like to play this with some other people to see how
much is it in early access right now?
It's $30.
Oh, I know Joe's playing it. You can probably reach out to him. He has it.
I was thinking about reaching out to Joe because I find that I suck at it, which I'm sure is not helping with my
multiplayer roguelikes. I do like the idea of, like, I probably wouldn't be, as someone who hasn't played Drifter, I probably would have a better time with this, as I'm not coming from a place of I don't have an expectation the same way fans of Drifter would. Did that show off what you want to show off with enemy combat?
Yeah, well, that enemy right there would be 2 hits, right?
Oh yeah, now it's just the HP.
Now it's the HP counter, right? Like it would, whether that's a hit with a bullet, a hit with your sword, it's 2 hits, right? Some of the guns or weapons might do like additional like hits, right? But they've kept this like bar like form, right? For the UIs, but those bars had meaning. Those were discrete like health units. Each of them were, right? And that was And so like losing that like impactfulness, just that feeling of like impact that your stuff had, when it did not sit well with me.
Pure conjecture on my part. I have no idea. I don't know what goes on in the meeting rooms and boardrooms with what is it, Heartbreak Studio? Heart Machine,
yeah.
And whatever publishers they work with. There's a part of me that can see this as they really did start with a different game and a new IP, and got basically told you need to make it Hyperlight in the Hyperlight series if you want this to actually get published. That is me essentially throwing Heart Machine a bone and giving them an out, or the benefit of the doubt. To me, I'm looking at this, even just looking at this and looking at Hyperlight Drifter and what Hyperlight Drifter was. This seems like such an unnecessary step to take for what seems to be an actual, like, is there a story to this? If this is a roguelike?
Vaguely. I'm still kind of figuring out what that's supposed to be, but the story is kind of like you're supposed to, I forget what they're calling it. You're supposed to kill the big bad to end the cycle.
I guess, does this actually continue on from anything from Hyperlight Drifter, or was Hyperlight Drifter kind of a self-contained?
It's supposed to be a prequel. It was, from what I heard, and then I think that I literally heard somebody else say that, so I'm not sure. But yeah, the prospect of getting a better look at some of like the lore and things that were going on, because Hyperlight was set in this world that had already basically a post-apocalyptic world, and a settlement, and you go out and you explore these reaches of a world that's been already ravaged by war, right? You have these arms connected to swords that are like buried in the ground from titans that are long dead, and you're just running through the dregs of whatever happened, right? Like
that sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah, like long destroyed war machines, afflictions, like picking up memories, and weapons from long dead bodies, or people who are doing the same thing that you did but didn't make it. And yeah,
okay, just randomly swapped over to Hades.
Cut into Hades. Yeah,
I guess as I said what I said to go to say, they could have, if this was really about generating hype by using the previous IP, and they weren't actually, like, they could have more easily did that by just doing the new IP and X Hyperlight Drifter, like a lot of game companies have been doing now, where it's like there's a quote unquote collab going now, and that would have worked a lot better to generate hype than putting out something that's so drastically different than the predecessor. Because I was reading through some of the comments while you were talking, and it basically is kind of, people are hoping they turn it around, is essentially the sentiment that I was getting from a lot of these comments. They're like, I believe that a lot of them are like, we believe in Heart Machine, and I'm sure they can actually create a pretty great game. It feels like this early access is a lot more unfinished. It feels a lot more unfinished than it should be at a point in which you're putting out I think someone was like, it feels like 20% done where you would expect it to be at least 50% done. And it just seems kind of like very, very, very underbaked. So it seems, and a lot of them are going, this was like their favorite, like Hyperlight Drifter is one of their favorite games and all that. So they're echoing a lot of your sentiments.
Drifter has earned a lot of faith in Heart Machine from me, right? The amount of fun that I had with that game, the hours I put into it, just dinking out. Even now, if I really don't know what to do with my time and I pick up a console, that's the first game I'll click on.
Right.
Right. I really, really enjoyed that game. And I will continue to try to play Breaker. And I don't know if I'll talk about it again, at least not on the podcast. Part of me just wants to, because the way I learn things or interact with things is usually just by starting to do it and then seeing what I can figure out. And so clearly I didn't even realize there were fucking hoverboards. So clearly there's some aspects I'm missing out on that I haven't really fully figured out. But yeah, my initial reaction has been disappointing.
I want to read this comment out and see what you think about it. Someone says on the video we're watching, which by the way is from Skill Up. They're doing a review. We have it muted. We're not really listening to it. We just need it for gameplay, but always give credit where credit is due. Someone here says, after hearing you hammer on the lack of polish and art direction, it hit me that this game was likely made as an in-between safe money maker to help keep the studio going, and that the main guy behind Hyperlight Drifter, Alex Preston, is more focused on Processors, a roguelite open world looter with elements of an extraction shooter, combined a few different aspects of a lot of successful games on the market around the time the game began development.
Interesting. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. I've never heard of Possessors and all this, so
I don't know about Possessors, but to me it feels a lot like Risk of Rain in terms of like the 3D style, the way you're collecting upgrades. It's not, it lacked the upgrades, the way the like funness of Risk of Rain, where how those interact with your separate powers. Not there.
I had to reread it a couple times. So it sounds like the main guy behind the Hyperlight Drifter might not even be working on. At least this person is speculating.
Well, is he still alive?
I don't know.
Because one of the big things with the name of the
I think this isn't spoilers. I think this is just news.
No, I mean like part of Hyperlight Drifter is like heart disease.
Yeah, one of the big themes of a Hyperlight Drifter is dealing with chronic illness, and the ambiguity of whether or not your character even like survives a Hyperlight Drifter is like a part of that theme of just like not knowing what happens. So like even if you beat the game of Hyperlight Drifter, your fate is not certain.
Interesting.
But the creator was struggling with health issues.
Yes.
Imagine waking up every day knowing you will die. This is how Alex Preston gained the courage to create his highly successful video game, Hyperlight Drifter. If you knew this around the quarter of our time wasn't on your side, what if you were born with an internal clock? Alex Preston's story starts in the hospital. Growing up an avid gamer, he had always dreamed of creating one of his own video games. But when he became sick, the dream was a little harder to reach. Still, though, on his hospital bed, Alex was persistent. He created a 2D video game called Hyperlight Drifter despite the illness. Knowing his death was inevitable only fueled him to have the courage to create his highly successful video game. Whatever energy he had went directly into building Hyperlight Drifter. As Alex puts it, dying is boring. You got to do something with your time. So what is the secret to living a life with no regrets? One where you'll look back and be at peace with how you're living. Live a life that is true to yourself. Don't live or do anything for anyone other than yourself. Alex's story is a great reminder of how precious time is in it, and that if we don't make the most of it, we'll die wishing we had. I don't see anything. Yeah, I think he's still kicking. But I never knew that.
Yeah.
Explains why the company's called Heart Machine.
Yeah. I'll keep playing it. Okay. It's not what I would have wanted to see as a prequel, or the art. There are parts of the art that I think are really fun, really well done. But overall, it feels like the art is it has a pretty consistent style, but it's just kind of underdeveloped.
It reminds me of Pal World, like the quality of it or something.
It reminds me of stylized models
in Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Like this reminds me, honestly, it reminds me a lot of the capstones we used to see. And that
too.
School. Which no shade to that, to like students.
Right.
Like this is great for a student.
It's just there's something about the polish.
Yeah, it's just kind of not there. But if this is this is still in early access. if it is only 20% done, that might actually even be better.
You know, if you want to play Hyperlight Drifter, you could buy the early access right now and you'll get both.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think I have Hyperlight Drifter, so I might just do
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I might just do that. I think what that person, that commenter said, probably what's going on, where this was just a keep the company floating along, and the main guy is probably off doing, like, working on other shit. Like what? So I don't know how real this announcement was, but I've seen a few of the Minecrafters I actually care about talking about it. That Minecraft 2 is happening by Notch.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, what?
Which I find that hard to believe, because there's no way Notch is going to make a Minecraft 2 when he sold the IP. But
yeah, from what I understand, Notch is making something that he anticipates being a spiritual successor to Minecraft.
okay,
He is calling it Minecraft 2 seems more like something that's meant to grab attention for.
oh, okay, that makes more sense
than because I don't think it's supposed to be like a clone. And from what I understand, I don't think we've actually seen anything from him from what the game would be at this point. There is like there were talk of a couple prototypes or a couple things that he's been doing that were kind of similar. But I did watch a video about that, but the vibe I got was that it's a tweet. A tweet is what we have right now.
That's what I figured. But yeah. So yeah, and I think that's always the difficult part of trying to follow up the very successful thing you made, especially if the person who headed it and was like the brain behind it doesn't really want to do anything after.
Can't all be Lucas Pope.
I have no idea who that is.
That's the guy who made Papers, Please and then Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh, okay. Fair.
Two games I love very much. I don't know if he's done anything since. It's been a while. But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll have to just kind of keep an eye on that. I think at some point I might go on and get it. If you can get Hyperlight Drifter with it, then that makes a lot of sense. I have to look through my library because I might already have Hyperlight Drifter. As a matter of fact, Epic might have gave it out for free. So I might already have it on the Epic launcher.
Yeah, that's true.
So I will have to look at that.
I'm going to play it on Epic launcher though.
Probably.
If
If I got it for free, I will. I play games through the Epic launcher.
You do? I've never played a game through the Epic launcher.
Trust me, if I get it for free, I'm gonna. I played through, like, that library has been steadily growing. They actually haven't put out anything free in a while. I just noticed.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude,
I guess I haven't checked.
What about Fortnite?
Y'all don't get to see.
You're right.
Y'all don't
Damn,
get to
I've
know.
been playing.
No, y'all don't get to see the shit eater's grin he just had on his face as he said that. One of these days, we're gonna have a fucking camera pointed at you too. If you're gonna subject us to stupid shit like that, you're gonna have to be on camera to do
Play
it.
fucking Fortnite.
None of us play fucking Fortnite. Only the biggest game in the industry right now, I guess.
I mean, I think the funniest thing is, like, they had GTA 5 free on there.
They did.
Like, a while back, and people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, they had it back, like, I don't know how long ago, but it was free for, like,
Actually, I'm fairly certain Rockstar just put it out for free for a while.
Really?
Like, there was a very, 3-4 years ago, you could get GTA 5 from the Rockstar website kind of thing.
That built in on Unreal? Or do they just have games on Unreal?
I imagine it's probably been ported for Unreal, or at least they probably just put it out on the Epic Store.
Wow, that's a good
It's
question.
a storefront at the end of the day.
yeah.
So it's
I
not
guess
specific to Unreal Engine games.
No,
I don't think.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't
GTA
know.
I guess
5
that would
has
make
been-
sense if
GTA
Hyperlight
5 has
Drifter
been on everything.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of games that get put on the store because at the end of the day, it's still a storefront. It's just meant to push sales and get commission.
Right. I don't think every game that's there has been made in Unreal per se, but I'm sure that they want to push the most popular ones that have been made in Unreal.
I would assume the free ones they give out probably were. But I don't know. That's the business decision. I don't understand it, but it's been working for them because that sweet, sweet Fortnite money. So who knows? I've not dug into any of them enough to know whether or not they're all Unreal or not. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on Breakers. Hyperlight Breaker, and we'll kind of see where that goes. We have friends who have also played it. I'm curious to hear how Joe has felt about it. I saw him playing it on stream one night. I never got a chance to really talk to him about it. We'll talk to him. Maybe if you play multiplayer, if I get it, we can play multiplayer and just see if that's a little different, because it is a multiplayer roguelike. So maybe the appeal of it is that you have to be playing with people, but that is a little disappointing to hear right now. That is quite a bit disappointing to see, like, the thing you love get a prequel, and it's just it's taking drastic steps and it's not really doing it great right now. But
well, and it's the style of game that I fucking love.
Right.
A hyperlight roguelike, like that idea conceptually, like I fucks with it.
Right.
I fucks with it real big. But it so far it just isn't delivering on what it would need to be. And to even be like, it doesn't create any of the same pleasures for me that the original did.
That's unfortunate.
So
I'm trying to think if there's any games that did that for me. There definitely are. There's definitely games that did that. Sonic Rider series did that. Did you ever play Sonic Riders?
Oh yeah.
Even not well received sequels like BioShock.
Yeah.
BioShock 2. I really enjoyed it. I fucking loved it. I actually didn't care for Infinite that much because of how much I enjoyed the first couple games.
I would say a lot of people hated Infinite because it didn't feel like 1 or 2.
Yeah. It was a very significant departure. And again, I actually think that was probably more of like a marketing thing than anything else. Totally different setting, totally different mechanics.
Yeah, unfortunately, when publishing houses are what really runs and drives what gets put out, you kind of wind up in this unfortunate situation where the team wants to make something different and they're forced to put a veneer of the old thing over it. And it's like, sometimes you do your game a disservice by forcing it to be in the vein of the old thing.
Forcing the
or not in the vein, but like in the spirit of the old thing. And it's like, no, they're doing something different, and you kind of piss off you might sell copies, but you destroy goodwill this way. Like you start bleeding people that are willing to come back for it when you do that. So we shall see. We'll probably hear a lot more about it now that it's on my radar. I'll probably start seeing more about Hyperlight Breakers, and ear to the ground and see kind of how that goes. Maybe I'll get time to try it out and see for myself, but I don't know. But speaking of games that no, hold on. There's something there. Wait a second.
Speaking of sequels to games.
No, because it's not a sequel.
Prequels.
Nope, it's not a prequel either.
Are you trying to do a real one now?
Well, I'm trying to move to Balatro, and I can't think of anything that we talked about.
Speaking of games that you really like, but that are actually...
Nah, that's too basic.
Speaking of games...
Speaking of Balatro... I meant to talk about this more after episode 43, and we didn't talk about it last week. But... that's a lie. Did we talk about it last week?
No, we talked about it 43 last week.
Yeah. Balatro, so as much as I gushed about it the last few weeks, I kind of expected to start falling off of it by now. And the way I'm getting more into it, and what really helps is finding Raffolight. He is a streamer who kind of has just been uploading his VODs to YouTube. Yeah. And he's been a pretty... I don't know how big he actually is in the Balatro scene. It seems like he is, but he's been posting all of his runs, and I've been essentially kind of learning just watching him play, because he does like some of the insane, not quite always to the infinite non-inf state, which is like the current, that's how you know you've beaten a run, because you hit a point where you literally get an infinite score. It's a score so big it cannot display the numbers. It just displays the word non-inf. E-I-N-F, infinite. And so he's... the fuck was that?
Probably my laptop.
Oh, okay. he's shown some runs with that, but he just also just shows like crazy runs and setups and some mods and stuff like that. And I've been really just like, if I just want to throw on an hour and a half long video, gets thrown right up there. He has a really chill personality that I really like. And just watching him play Balatro is showing me Balatro at a high level that I really want to get to now. We talked about Balatro a good bit. I think I never really got into the gameplay of Balatro other than just saying it's a poker roguelike.
We talked about like the music a little bit.
The music is still phenomenal. And it's literally just the one song. It's the one song with like some mild different arrangements to it based on scenario that you're in, such as like, are you in the shop? Are you in the game over screen? Are you on the title screen? Are you in the actual play? And there's like the settings screen, I think, has its own special one. Or no, when you open packs to get stuff. So you start every run of Balatro with a deck of 52 cards. It's just 52 playing cards. Ace through, well, technically 2 through ace. Jokers are a special class of card that you can get. So you make, like I said last week, you start with 2 through, you start your deck of 52. You get to draw a hand of 8 random cards. And from there, you make a poker hand. It could be literally just a high card. A single card is a high card. A pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, full house, flush, straight flush, straight, royal flush, all that fun stuff, right? You make those. Your goal is to get points, which are called chips, by making those, and that each hand you make, each type of hand you make, has a amount of base chips it gives you and a multiplier that comes with it. So if you make a pair, it is a base of 2 and a multiplier of 2. And then every card you play has a value to it, which is just the number value on the card. Or if it's a face card, it's a 10. If it's an ace, it's an 11. It adds that amount of chips to the base amount. And then it multiplies all that together to give you your total for the hand. And you have so many hands you can play. So I think I add bases either 3 or 4 hands you can play, as well as a base amount of discards you can do. So if you get some cards in your hand, you have 8 cards in your hand, you're like, okay, I have 2 kings here, but I can't win with just these 2 kings. I want to try to get 4. I want to try to get 4 of a kind in my hand. You can discard the other, 5 at a time. You can make a hand of 5. You can discard 5 cards. It'll take them out of play, bring in 5 new cards, and you kind of just shuffle through that way. The thing with Balatro and kind of what starts getting to like the ridiculous shit where you're starting to get like 1043 or 1043 times e to the 17th power and shit like that, is you start getting your Joker cards, which usually add to your multiplier. So whereas the value of the cards will add to your chip total, the Joker cards will usually add to your multiplier total. So I searched this up. I searched this on fucking Twitter, and I should not have done that. This might be a mistake. You know what? We're not going to do that. I'm editing this anyway, so it doesn't matter. We weren't going to see anything bad, but you never know what slips through the cracks.
No pun intended? Question mark.
Just the thick cheeks.
No pun intended. Let's see hither.
That a pepperoni hot pocket?
God, I love Hyperlight Drifter.
Drifter's pretty great. Yeah, this is a good one. So, to break down what we're seeing on the screen right now. This is where shit gets kind of crazy because this person
quintillion score. What the fuck?
This person has 42 cards in their hand right now. You can only play 5 at any given time. You can never play more than 5 cards to make a hand. But this is pretty untypical. But you can do things in infinite runs. You can do things that allow you to increase the amount of cards you can hold in your hand down here. You can each card can get like a special effect added to it. So these queen cards are all steel cards right now, which gives them a ×2, not a ×2, but no, they do get they get a ×2 multiplier if they're held in your hand down here. You can also get stuff like this here are lucky cards, which have a chance of being either adding 20 to your multiplier or adding 15 to the multiplier or $20 to money, which is how you buy stuff in between runs, extra cards, Joker cards, get into shit like tarot cards. And
I didn't know you had a thing where you could add extra Joker cards.
So Joker cards, there's a particular, your Joker cards can have one of like 4 or 5 effects. They can either have foil, holographic, negative. Actually, I think that's it. So foil gives you 50 extra chips whenever it's scored. Holographic will add 10 to the multiplier. And negative, which is what you're seeing some of these cards are. What it does is that it doesn't change the effect of the card, but it removes it from the it technically it adds a extra Joker slot that you can fill up, which makes them really fucking powerful and really nice because it means you can get Jokers and then they don't count towards your total in hand, which is really fucking cool. And they're not going to show it in here. I have to show it. You just see like how these score multipliers just get kind of insane. And the Jokers there's 150 Jokers, and they even start going over like what some of them do is a daunting task. Some of them will add chips to the hand. Some of them add different multipliers. Some of them multiply your multiplier. So instead of just adding 20 to the multiplier, it'll just times 2 whatever's already here. Some of them have varying effects on just cards alone. Some of them allow you to do rerolls in the shop for free. Some of them will, this was even before, this might even be an old build of Balatro.
A year ago.
Yeah, so that was even back before some of the stuff that we got now.
How did he get John fucking Wick?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, okay, John Wick.
Where the fuck are y'all seeing that?
Channel name.
Oh.
65 subscribers wasted.
Right.
Yeah, the all those like different things come together in like a really satisfying.
This is Raffle Light, by the way.
Confluence of different like mechanics and things that interact or interlock in a really nice way. So it's super fucking.
It's just so satisfying seeing that when you make a really good hand and you've built a really good set of Jokers and you have all of your planet cards, which increase the base amount that the different hand types can give you, and your spectral your spectral cards, your tarot cards, they have different effects on the cards themselves or multipliers and shit like that. When you've just built your hand really fucking well, it just hits a satisfying point that is hard to understate. Like, this is abusing a couple things. So this Joker can create a negative copy of any card you have in your consumable slot. He used that to use a card called the Cryptid, which he can then use to create 2 copies of a card he has in his hand. And he's using that to create, by the time he's done, I think he has like 178 cards in his hand. And he uses this to get an infinite run. And just this alone is the draw and appeal to Balatro. Of a matter of fact, you don't even get the full effect if you can't hear it. I should probably unmute the TV.
Lower game speed, I can't tell what's happening. Gotta tell you, that would not change. Oh my god, it almost, that was a big hiccup that time.
Like, and there's just cards that allow them to reset and do things. You see the seal, this red seal on the cards makes the cards replay a second time.
Like, it's bigger. Like, it's got to be bigger on my screen, and I cannot tell what's going on here.
It's just this juicy level, and this is not normal. Like, people aren't just doing this by random. You can do seeded runs.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
And there's the whole Balatro community is kind of around like finding seeded runs that build up the perfect hand to get this kind of stuff. And so yeah, like Balatro has just been
his reaction when he hits.
He knows it's gonna hit 1 million, and this is also his reaction is kind of wild.
Like, this way beyond 1 million.
Yeah, he hits the infinite. He hits the infinite mark. Get to the end. We'll skip ahead.
Please. please.
But he's getting this with only like 3 of those Jokers, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It says, oh, we've done it. Oh my God, we've done it. With room to slip air, too.
Ooh. Like his computer's chugging right now. I think he mentions it in a second. Or he mentioned it earlier. At some point in this, he's like, my computer's chugging.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, we're losing sound effects.
Yeah. And that sound, this music just going in the background.
Just some nice Balatro ASMR to sleep to. Oh my God. Okay. Now we've done it.
Wait, can you do it again? I blinked, sorry.
Oh.
His chat community is pretty great.
Yeah. You know what that music reminds me of?
What's that?
Hyperlight Drifter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to listen to the Hyperlight Drifter soundtrack. I've never done that. But yeah.
I think it's by... What's his name? I think he did the soundtrack for...
Risk of Rain?
No, maybe.
You thinking Chris Christodoulou? Christopher Christodoulou?
Disaster Piece?
Oh, I have no idea who that is.
But one thing I will say about Breaker is the soundtrack
does still
not
slap.
disappoint.
Okay, people were saying that in the comments too.
Yeah, I was seeing that a lot, which is what got me to kind of bring it up, because I was like, this does sound like it slaps like Drifter. So I was like, maybe the gameplay.
Yeah, the music is great. Well, I don't think they always deploy it dynamically in the best way, but the music that they do use is great.
Yeah. Like, yeah, Balatro is so satisfying and so easy to just kind of pick up and just play. And my runs are terrible. I'm in the state right now where I'm just kind of I'm unlocking stuff, so I'm still finding the new Jokers to unlock. I'm unlocking some Jokers require unlock conditions, which is like play certain hands a certain number of times or buy cards a certain number of times and shit like that. Like, so I'm in that phase right now, but I do absolutely see myself hitting a point and starting to like do seeded runs and getting the community found seeds and trying out and learning how to, because at first he had a video about teaching one of his friends like how to be good at Balatro. And for a second I was like, I mean, when I hear how to get good at Balatro, I hear like a skill thing, and it's like there's not really a skill so much as knowing what the cards do, but I guess that is the skill at the end of the day. And as well as just as he was explaining it, he was like knowing when to maximize what they call econ, maximize the amount of money that you're getting from playing rounds so that you can buy more stuff, and how to use those effectively to like re-roll what you get, and how to manage your money well to get the cards you're looking for and know, all right, right. And to know what synergizes with who and what to build for and when to build for it, when to get rid of certain Jokers, when to buy new Jokers, when to take certain tarot or spectral cards and when not to. And it's like, I actually do kind of want to start learning that aspect of Balatro. But yeah, $10 on mobile, $15 on Steam. You cannot go wrong. It is a great game made by one guy. Just a dude who likes making games. And he was like, I want to make this kind of, he's like, I was listening to, someone did kind of a biography on him a little bit. Cause I don't even know if it's a man or a woman, to be honest with you. They are incredibly private to the point that they are still anonymous. Like they only go by the name that they put the game out under. And they've done some interviews with people. I don't remember if those are recorded or they're just like kind of email back and forth. But people have like done videos on it, and they were just making this game because they like making small little projects, and they'll put them out for themselves and their friends and their family, to the point that the creator was like, I only expected to sell 6 copies of Balatro.
Really?
Of like his parents and like a couple of his friends picking it up, and that's all he expected. Yeah. And then internet communities did what internet communities do, and one person, like 2 or 3 streamers got to it, and they played it on stream, and the rest was history. And from there, it just kind of blew up and took off like wildfire. And it's his ethos on it was very interesting because he was like, honestly, it getting popular was kind of a detriment to it, because now all of a sudden he had so many voices giving input and what they wanted to see happen. It was like it was so much for him to just kind of try to filter through, that he was like, when the next game he makes, people will not know about it until it's done. He will not. It's either people are gonna love it or they're gonna not. But y'all find out about it when it's done and put up on Steam. He was like, he actually really wants to avoid the situation of getting the feedback and the trying to cater to people that are buying it.
Makes sense.
So that was very interesting to hear. And it was literally him, and he paid a dude on Fiverr to do the music. Oh. And he was like, after it blew up, because this thing is sold either 2 million copies or 20 million copies, one of the two.
Damn.
Either way, it's doing numbers.
Either way, it's doing numbers, to the point that he actually recontacted the guy who did the music on Fiverr and rewrote a contract so that dude gets 100% of royalties on the soundtrack.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was like, that's just being a good guy.
That's pretty fucking
good. Yeah. Right. So
he didn't have to do that, but he did.
He did. So like, this game that like, to me, came out of nowhere. Even though it was in the Game Award, it was big enough that it got its music in the Game Awards and won an award. Like, it kind of came out of fucking nowhere, but it's so fun. It's so good.
It's incredible.
And I would highly encourage anyone to give it a shot. So yeah, that was the Balatro talk I meant to do like 2 weeks ago and last week and never did. But I'm glad it's finally out of my system now.
Gotta get that Balatrocy.
That Balatrocy.
I was about to say, I have to pick it up, but then you said that, and I was like, timing.
No, still pick it up.
Yeah, still pick it up. I'm just talking about people being horny on X. You're already on X. So.
Speaking of people being horny on X, we got some Sonic screenshots here.
Yeah.
Don't even be mad. Don't be mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay.
I mean, I was about to go in mock offense, but
no, we have some concept art from the Sonic 3.
Yeah.
So I'm going to actually plaster a big old spoiler alert, because some of this stuff are like major scenes from the movie.
Some of these concepts we have seen, but then some of them we haven't. And it leads into a lot of questions on like, dang, we could have had this type of movie, or this could have been in it, or that could have been in it.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, is this scene kind of moved to the next movie potentially?
What's this?
Right. Like, we didn't get this like in the first round of concepts.
Alternate dimension Eggman?
Like,
is this Papa Eggman the Divine? Like,
it looks like it, where Metal comes from. And so like, he takes over a different architectural city. Oh, this looks like the original how he was supposed to meet Amy.
Maybe.
Could be.
She just bust somebody's dick off.
She did. She does that.
So happy too.
I wish her hammer was bigger.
With pleasure.
Her hammer's not as big as it should be. It's a decent size, but her hammer has always been bigger than that.
Katamari Damacy.
Yeah. But no, these are just...
What's that? Is that just a flag that's just flag? I thought that was a whole nother character. I was like... Also, the way they renders Tails' tail there is wild.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, that's just kind of how it looks in most of the games.
It is how it looks in most of the game, but it is quite distinctly solid.
Like, a lot
them
of people,
having an actual gun battle.
Right. A lot of people are saying, like, these are just really good. Like,
this is really so good art. Like, this doesn't feel like concept art. Right?
The cameo in the concept art is funny as fuck.
Is that Will Ferrell?
It's Will fucking Ferrell for sure.
What's the next one? Was it this one? That's sick. That's just good wallpaper right there. Right.
What's Joe Biden doing?
Joe Biden. Then was that the last one? Or
I can't
is this the
believe
last
AI
one?
did all this.
Right? that would suck if we found out this was all AI.
Right. And I was very skeptical at first because I was like, we had this many and we're just now seeing all of this. But I'm like,
Oh, is this supposed to be the original idea of where he was?
it could, yeah.
It has the burrito and everything, which is crazy.
Well, I think actually I watched a video and they were saying how in the original idea he was actually hiding out in Mexico.
Which explains the Cholula.
Yeah. It's like he was just in like this gas station or something like that. Like he renovated this gas station in the middle of nowhere. And he's got his like crab parked outside of it. His big ass crab parked outside of it, just chilling. Yeah.
The fucking ruffles and Cholula placements are crazy.
In the concept art.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
That would have been nuts.
Like this is why I'm like, I wish this had happened like this, like made it look like this. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Crazy.
I mean, kind of makes sense that he would get captured too. But yeah. Yeah, no. Concept art is always such a cool thing.
It is.
Getting to see what some of the original ideas
the whole
were.
Breath of the Wild art book.
That's why he got the whole Breath of the Wild art book. It seems like, I mean, this is nuts.
Yeah.
This is just straight up like,
This is like,
what the heck was this supposed to be?
What was it supposed to be? But I do love it. Oh, I missed the Metal Sonic.
You just didn't see the Metal Sonic?
I didn't see the Metal Sonic. I didn't fucking see that at all.
Jesus. Yeah, no, like I'm curious what direction this is supposed to be going in, because this is God Emperor Eggman.
Yeah, like maybe from another dimension.
Yeah.
Coming through.
Could be.
From the future, maybe.
God
like,
Emperor Eggman.
Right.
It would explain why, there's just this sudden jump in like technology quality.
Right. Right. So that was a cool share. Thank you for showing us this.
Yeah, I figured it would just be interesting to look at what could have been and what was concepted for the movie, but taken out or adjusted or whatnot. Like some things are
interesting
accurate
to look at.
Yeah,
you are interesting to look at.
Oh, well, thank you guys.
It wasn't a compliment.
It's not.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. You are
interesting.
beautiful.
We're kidding. He's one of our best friends. Also, he's the married one of this crew. So, fuck.
That makes you hot automatically.
It means someone has looked at you and said, "I want that."
Forever, I guess.
Forever, I guess.
He's also the most photogenic person in my life right now, and I hate him for it.
It is true. He is incredibly photogenic.
He takes some of the best photos, and I don't understand how.
You just gotta be
just
prepared.
look at him in real life.
Like, how the fuck does this translate into a goddamn? I'm kidding.
You're being so damn charming.
Hit him with a smolder.
I take it all back. Take it all back. You fuck out of my house.
Fuck out of my house. Oh, man. Speaking of things fucking out of the house, came across this post the other day. Oh, no, I didn't come across it. Your wife sent it to us the other day.
Yeah.
That's right. I keep forgetting that. And it just starts with, what's a glitch in the Matrix moment you've experienced that still freaks you out? I actually have an entry for this, even though it doesn't really freak me out so much as it just like kind of stuns me. And this is all the way back from when I was in middle school. So
those are the best ones, honestly.
Yeah, I know, right? I might have told y'all about this. I don't know. Like, I think this has probably come up for us, but I don't recall ever really telling the story to y'all. So one day I wake up, and I'm used to waking up. My alarm goes off. I wake up, get ready, because we lived basically down the street from my school, so I just walked to school. I do my usual routine that morning. My alarm went off. I woke up, washed up, brushed my teeth, got dressed, left the house. It's like, it's a little dark, but it's like late fall or whatever the fuck. I don't think much of it. I walk to school, get to school, can't get the doors open. Doors are actually locked. So I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are I'm going around trying different doors, get back to the front. And that's when one of the janitors shows up. And he's like, what are you doing here so early? I was like, early? My alarm went off. Like, I thought I was late. Like, he's like, no, kid. He like shows me the time. It's like, it is 6 a.m. No, in middle school, I would have had to been there. I would get there by 8. So it's 7 in the morning. I left the house expecting to get there by 8:20. I'm showing up at 7 o'clock, and I know for a fact I left. It wasn't like it's daylight savings time, right?
I was gonna say daylight savings.
No, like we are. I think it was a bit after daylight savings, so it wasn't like everything just changed over or anything.
Right.
It was my alarm went off. I left the house at 8 o'clock. Why is it 7? And that to this day, I do not understand what happened other than I just walked backwards in time somehow.
Interesting.
And that's just never got explained ever again. Right?
Traveler Ruben.
I guess. That's why I hate time travel.
Yeah. I think like for me, I don't know. I've been trying to think of one, ever since, she sent us this. And there are a couple moments where I don't think I call them glitches in the Matrix more over than like glitches in my Matrix. Like, I know that it was a me thing, not like something going on and so it's not fucking me thing. Right? So I don't know, like when I was younger and I just didn't understand totally how like, I don't know, directions and roads worked. And I say younger. This was also around middle school when I just was not caring as much.
We didn't have to pay attention to it. We just got in the car.
Yeah. It's like, when you're getting off of the highway and you have like 4 different sections and like
the
exit ramps and everything. And how you get onto the, the street essentially from the exit ramps. I just assumed that like, because we went on the highway pretty much every day for school, for like everything.
Right.
I didn't understand that like, okay, if you're coming from the west and you're getting on the road from the exit ramp from the west and you go right, that's like south or whatever. Like, and you go right, that's north. Yeah, see, I'm still confused. And that's north. And then if you come from east and go right,
it's south, right?
It's south.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, for the longest time, not understanding, like, oh, I'm going to turn right. That way is my house. But no, I'm coming from this way. So it's not my house. It's the other direction. So I was just like, I don't know, always confused about where my house was. And so I just came up with the idea like, okay, when I leave for the day, they just construction everything and flip the world around. And that's just how it is. And yeah,
I think that's
I'm not going to think about it.
I think that's just main character syndrome.
It is. It very much is.
My reality doesn't exist until it's rendered around me.
Exactly.
Isn't that a lack of object permanence?
I think so.
Yes. It wasn't until after I realized how directions worked that I was like, oh, I'm just a fucking idiot.
Right?
My first memory is going to see my grandparents for the first time. And even though they were definitely in my life before that, speaking of weird things in childhood, I don't know, the closest thing I think I have to like a Matrix moment is probably just, I don't know what's going on.
It's just kind of crazy how this mic keeps winding up there. Like, it's just a fucking glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, I was going to say Matrix moment right there.
Yeah, what are you doing? Why you keep on this up? I keep putting it back up there. Is the I keep getting a really intense sense of deja vu about things.
You had that happen the other day,
but not just when I'm high.
Okay, good.
But like,
thanks for specifying that.
Yeah, we definitely talked about this in like episode 42 or so. But when we were watching 365 Days to the Wedding,
I got that, and then I didn't stop for the rest of the night.
He was going so nuts on the couch about like, I've seen this.
I've fucking seen this before.
Oh man.
But the audiobook I'm currently listening to, I had a really intense sense of deja vu about one of the scenes that happened. I was like, I feel like I've read this or read something similar to this before. I had it about
been in this place before.
I had it about the Mark of the Fool. I've been having it. I had it a couple times about the things, but yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Right.
And then You know, I've never had anything reality defying happen to me.
You know one we had recently, as in like yesterday.
Well,
So I come down to make dinner. He's up making himself dinner. And we're just like kind of shooting the shit. And he goes, "Oh, by the way, I had a question for you." And he walks over to the bathroom by our kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks me, is like, "Is there a reason you keep leaving the window up in the bathroom?" And I look at him and go, "I thought you'd been leaving it up." I was like, oh, he's like, okay, he's airing it out when he takes a shit. I guess that makes sense. Like, I wish he would put it down in the middle of the winter. It's fucking cold as shit.
I've been thinking that
just the other day I was in the bathroom and I was like, I wonder why they keep their window open.
We've both been like, I don't know why he's doing it, but I wish he would close it.
But the other thing is we've both been closing the window.
We both do close the window. So the window gets closed, and just somehow over time,
it's like, I don't know if it's walking itself up as things like
that's the only thing I can think. But that bitch is like Nosferatu. That bitch is a good 4 inches up. Like, that's not just cracked a little bit. The thing is up.
It's like up.
Interesting.
And it's like, what the fuck is going on? If the whole time me and him have been both like,
I've been just like, this is kind of weird behavior, but I guess it does get really hot in here.
There's a mild explanation, so I'll just latch on to that.
You know, like, it's the fact that we're in the dead of winter and it keeps happening.
It keeps happening.
And I was like, I need to have a conversation with Ruben, and then I would forget about it.
You both probably had the same thought. Just,
he says that, and I'm like, bro, I thought you were the one doing it. Like, I just been kind of letting it go because I'll think about it and then forget to bring it up later. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's been going on in our house. Luckily, locking the window seems to fix it.
Ghosts can't undo locks.
Ghosts can't undo locks, apparently.
Nope.
If you ever need survival tips for a haunted house.
No, it's perfectly explainable. The foundations are sinking. That's all.
The rest of the house is sinking around the window.
Yes.
The house is going down so fucking fast that
the window has no time to move. That's the perfectly reasonable explanation. I like it.
There it is.
You're right.
But some of these... Sorry, go for it.
I got one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's not... There's a video in Discord. It's something I recorded and I can't explain it. It's more of a UFO kind of situation. You've probably seen it before.
I think.
But this was flying maybe like 200 feet over the left side.
That's right.
Or the right
you did
side
show
of
us
the road,
this.
and the wind's coming from the left. So if it was a kite, they would have to be on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
And I looked into the field over there and I didn't see anybody.
It looks more like a plastic bag. It looks like a trash bag, yeah.
But it's so high up.
It is very high up, but hey, air drops happen.
The way that it's like... It was stationary too. It wasn't
moving
moving
it looks like
forward
it's stationary.
or backward. It was just like hovering in the air. I have
That's
no
a Dementor, man.
Aliens.
We should bring back the aliens meme. Aliens. Yeah, no, that's freaky. I truly do believe we live in a simulation. Like, I believe to some degree that there are constructs at play.
I think something's going on.
That have been getting real lazy with your fucking sloppy ass work.
Yeah.
Step your game up, bitches.
Letting the Cheeto become president.
Right? Like, who the fuck just lets that happen?
Right.
But some of these responses were pretty great. I was at my mom's house watching a movie with my brother. The room we were in was on the driveway side, and there was a big tree between my mom's and the neighbor's driveway. We were watching this movie at 9 at night. In November, it was dark outside. Out of nowhere, I had a feeling that the tree was going to fall on the house. All I could say was, the tree, as I was running out of the room to the main part of the house. The tree fell that exact moment. I got out, and miraculously, my brother and Kat made it out a little while later. Just fucking left everybody else. Just left everybody else.
I mean, would you get up and move, though, if you randomly just...
He warned him. He said the tree.
I would have grabbed someone. Like, if all you say is the tree inside of a room, that's not warning at all. I was driving around a curve and a semi was coming from the opposite direction. His trailer bed swerved in front of me, then back into his own lane. I felt like it passed right through me. It was that close. And some of these are close encounters. I don't know if some of these... I remember when I first read it, they were really juicy. I really should have saved some of these. Traveling home to northern New York from Maine across country on secondary roads through New Hampshire and Vietnam.
What did you think it was?
I said Vietnam. I legitimately was going to say Vietnam. And knowing that I know it's Vermont, but I figured that I would figure it out as I said it out loud. And my brain was like, that's Vietnam. New Hampshire and Vermont on a known route. I had made this trip dozens of times over the years. The night we ran into some fog along the way. Suddenly there was a car in front of us stopped by a bridge. It drove off into the fog almost as soon as we saw it. We pulled up to a small toll booth, spelled that wrong, and stopped, all while wondering what the hell was going on and where the hell we were. The nice old lady told us that our toll had been paid for by the car in front of us. We are now totally freaked out as I hand her a $5 and say that we will pay for the next car to come along, even though there is no one behind us. She gave me some change, thanked us, and we drive away across the bridge into the fog, which dissipates shortly thereafter. To this day, we have no idea what state this event even took place in. We only remember the above and can't explain why we didn't make a specific and immediate effort to determine our location. No internet searches have revealed any toll bridges along our route and any alternate routes that may have been taken. Motherfuckers, you guys almost went to Silent Hill.
You almost really fucking did.
Y'all had a decision to make and y'all made the right decision.
Right.
Your toll's already been paid. You're about to drive into the afterlife.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. Holy shit. Heading to work one morning, my seatbelt just wouldn't click shut. I had to pull over to get it to work, delaying my trip by a minute or so. Later in the commute, as I approached an intersection, someone ran the light at high speed. Very clear to me, I would have been T-boned without the pause. Instead, I just watched them fly by. I 100% believe in shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where things will go wrong, especially when I used to commute to work, where something would go wrong. And like this is the stupidest thing I've ever had to deal with. And I will, every single time I was like, you know what? Probably being saved from something right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am non-religious, but I do truly believe in the supernatural. I do believe, like, for the most part, I believe in a God. Not in the traditional sense that, like, a church has taught me, but that is what the basis of my beliefs start in. And I do believe that I'm being looked out for when stuff like that happens.
Something like that happened at the house.
Really?
Yeah, when you were Fluff with Shy and them too, I think at the time, off of what was it, 44th and like Breton or whatever.
What?
Did you hear any of what he said?
Nope. I was reading.
I figured he was. That's why I jiggled the screen. You become so blind to everything around you when you're focused on something.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad.
That's kind of how my brain
He
does.
said your name and everything, and that's usually enough.
Yeah, usually that breaks me out of it.
But anyway, he's talking about something that happened with
you.
you.
Out of the room yesterday. What?
We'll talk about that in a second.
Huh?
We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So once again, last night, after the whole thing with that, he came to lay down. He was eating. I went upstairs to, I was back and forth doing laundry.
Mm-hmm.
I went upstairs, grabbed some stuff, went back downstairs, was back in the kitchen making my food because I did ramen with like eggs or something like that. I turned on the water, and mind you, I have walked past this dude twice. Yep. He has moved his foot out of the way to let me walk past him. And he's sitting down here, he's watching something on YouTube and listening to an audiobook at the same time. I have done that, come back to the kitchen and making food.
So all his senses have been taken up.
You would think, because then I run the water, and that's when he's like, oh no, something wrong is going on.
I busted in the kitchen. Like,
he just like flew into the kitchen.
I was like, oh.
I did not know you were back down here. I was like, bro, I walked past you twice.
I did.
He just did not see me.
God damn it.
But anyway, so now that we have your attention.
Hi, I'm here. I'm part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Restart the story, I guess.
I was just saying, like, the one with the T-bone happened at the house. When that one day when you were, I don't know if you were in the car with her or what happened, but like on the intersection, 44th and Breton, that area, I was running fashionably late to, I forget exactly what it was. I think I was going over to MJ's house. But I was fashionably late. leaving, and like at that intersection, there was a car that came off of Breton and just smashed into the car in front of me. And like the dude who drove that car like got out of it and started booking it. And
that car was stolen.
Oh yeah,
that car was stolen.
I fucking remember that because me and Shy were coming back from the gym, and we were talking about every time we've come down this street, the last 4 times we've come down the street, there have been cops.
Yeah,
there have been lights up doing something, and we were like, something big just happened because they were searching, and I don't know how we got in contact with you or why we fucking called you or whatever, but we were like, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was there. If I was at like 30 seconds, if I left the house 30 seconds earlier, that probably could have been me. Like,
Jesus.
And it was freaky to think about that. But like, he just smashed and ran. And then I don't know if I was coming back later or watch it happen, because it happened right there. I needed to like back up and like go around, but cops pulled up and were chasing him down into like the gas station that was like over in the corner. So like, I don't know, that I feel that. And
right.
When you're saying like the supernatural, like I am religious and I also believe in that supernatural aspect of like, I feel like I am, my well-being is being looked after one way or another. Right. And there's just many instances of that where I feel like it's like, yeah, damn, that was close. Like, glitch in the Matrix, I don't know. But like, shit was close. Yeah, there's a few moments in my life.
Yeah, a lot of these I'm kind of reading through right now are close encounters, not really glitch in the Matrix, at least the way that I usually like, at least the ones I was reading when I first popped it up. This coincidence. I went to Disneyland with my visiting parents and sister. The moment we parked in the parking lot, another car parks next to us, and it's one of my closest friends with his family coming to visit Disneyland as well. We never agreed to meet. We never even talked about going to Disneyland, yet there we were. Took a picture for posterity. That's sick.
I wish I had friends.
Same. I wish you had friends too.
What am I, chopped liver?
I was once...
Don't say that, chopped liver.
I was once in a grave. Damn. I'm going to name my firstborn child Chopped Liver.
Chopped, middle name Liver.
Chopped Liver Brown. Nope, they're going to be Chopped Liver.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, man. I was once in a graveyard leaning against a gravestone. The name was the same as mine, Karen Thomas. I was once thrown off a motorcycle, no helmet or gear. My boyfriend had several broken bones, but I didn't have a scratch. I had the wrong version of throw in my head. I thought someone literally just like chucked her off a moving motorcycle.
Someone just...
It was like, yeah, just your boyfriend yeeted you off the motorcycle and somehow broke his hand in that exchange and you didn't have a scratch.
I like how I probably just went out of camera and then went,
a witness said I landed on my feet. That is nuts. I was driving with a friend many years ago and we hit some roadkill that was frozen on the road. We hydroplaned the car, and during so I kept saying, "You got this." Anyway, we hit the guardrail and they didn't have it. And I recall as we did seeing this huge grassy field and thinking, had we broke through, we'd be fine probably, as it was just a ditch into a field. So he and I talked for a moment as a car came by. He was sure he had control, but I said, "Man, we're fine." The other car's driver comes over and says, "Wow, were you guys lucky? Could have been the end of y'all's." I was thinking, dude, the ditch isn't even that big. I look over and see a huge drop off into the ocean. I swear it was a field to this day. My friend lost his mind, and seeing the cliff, I never did ask him if he saw the field as well or not, but I know I did, as I was too calm. Even after it happened, I didn't really care.
You really saw into the afterlife.
You just saw the end of that tunnel, buddy. Holy shit. I lived with my parents, was 21, returning from work as a server at a restaurant. It was about 2 a.m. I am driving and almost home and drove past a totally naked woman around 50 with red hair down to her butt who was walking up a hill across the street from where I lived. I was completely shocked and parked my car and got out of my car and looked up the street for her, but she was gone. At this time, my mom had long red hair too. I got home and peeked into my parents' bedroom to make sure it wasn't her, and it wasn't. Freaked me out. Damn.
Interesting.
I think that was your mom. I think your mom's a little freaky.
I think your mom sprinted up the road.
Fast.
Your mom's pretty fast.
Walking up a hill. Her mom and dad, I don't know, Carla, her mom and dad totally just pranking the fuck out of her. When I was about 20, my dad and I were having a heated argument when a bird flew into the sliding glass door. After making sure the bird was okay, my dad started the conversation back up, at which point my much younger brother locked himself in his bedroom and couldn't get out. After my dad rescued him, he came back into the family room, looked at me and said, "Stop that." Oh, that's just haunted ghost stories. What the fuck? Okay.
Someone don't want you to be talking.
Someone wants y'all to shut the fuck up.
Right.
As a child, I was pretending to be a magician and saying, "Look at this," turning a solid blue scarf from front to back a few times, and once there was a tiny image of flowers in a vase on it. The next 2 flips, it was gone and never returned. Over 60 years, and that still gives me the creeps. That's crazy. Driving into work Monday morning in my brand new car we'd picked up over the weekend, only to see the exact same car, make, model, and color, already parked in my spot. I parked in the same spot every day. Never saw this car there before, not a big car park. I parked next to it and learned a colleague had picked up her brand new car over the weekend also. Very surreal. See?
That's just coincidental.
That's very coincidental, but it's like, that's lazy writing on the simulator's parts. One more here just to see if it's a good one. I was walking with my best friend from high school on a visit back to my old hometown. She lived by the high school. As I walked with her to her house and past the high school, I thought we'd better get to her house before anyone sees us. Then the wind blew a wisp of her now white hair into my sightlines. I reached for her and said, "I just traveled back in..." Huh?
What?
That was dumb.
I was walking with my best friend from high school on a visit back to her house before.
I think what she's saying is that she's walking with her friend and her hair was blown into her sight and it changed to white.
That's what I'm thinking.
It doesn't fucking make sense. Cut that one out and read a different one.
Yeah, okay, we're gonna read a separate one.
Which one that has a lot of reactions?
Yeah, let's see if we can find a good one. Let's do. How do you determine relevancy?
All comments.
The fucking algorithm.
I mean, that one has 930.
Yeah, we'll finish it with this one. I was at a coffee shop one morning. You know what? That comment was our glitch in the Matrix. That weird ass one that made no fucking sense. That's our glitch in the Matrix.
I think what they were the story they were trying to tell is someone walking with their friend and they're an old woman walking with their old friend, but it's the present day and they're both young. And she says, "I think I just traveled back in time." It's like if you were suddenly 12 again.
Fair.
But you had seen the future.
Maybe.
So I think it was probably like a deja vu.
I took it as she saw a vision of the past. What she meant to say was, she mentions the color of the hair. I think she meant to also mention the old color of her hair.
Yeah.
Her now white hair as the color of it was when we were kids, and bring it back that. It's our glitch in the Matrix. I'm just going to run with that. Since it made so little sense. You kind of have to speculate. It was kind of weird.
We're coming up with theories as to what we should have understood when we first read it.
Yeah. the unexplainable should be explained.
I've read a couple of these. These are some of these are good. Actually pretty good, yeah.
I was at a coffee shop one morning. The person in front of me had ordered, but upon needing to pay, realized she didn't have her wallet on her. I was sitting right behind her and told the cashier to add the charges to my order. The other lady's charge was $6 and some cents. She thanked me, no big deal. Later that day, I was walking my dog and found a $5 bill and a $1 bill laying together on the sidewalk. Kind of shook me. A young man at my church died in a tragic accident. I read this one.
Yeah, this one.
This is the one I read.
Yeah.
There was a funeral and everything. 10 years later, I started a new job, and who was my direct supervisor? The guy who died. Same name, appropriately aged, and everything. I was too freaked out to ask him about it. I would have fucking asked.
Yeah. First question.
Years ago, we were watching TV and Roy Orbison was performing. I said to my husband that this must be pre-recorded from a few weeks ago because Roy Orbison died. My husband said, no, this is live. He's right there. I told him that he had very recently died of a massive heart attack. The next morning, we woke up to the radio playing Pretty Woman in tribute to Roy Orbison, who had died overnight of a massive heart attack. I told my husband, see, I told you he died of a massive heart attack. He said, but not yet. Don't do that. Ew.
That is kind of crazy, though.
Huh?
So she basically predicted his heart attack the night before.
No. I know that, but even the way this ends doesn't really... The husband still seems to not be hearing the song played in tribute to Roy Orbison because he says not yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like he's responding to her saying, see, I told you he died yesterday. And he's responding by saying, yeah, but like when you told me he died, he wasn't dead yet. So don't do that.
Maybe.
That's the way I see it.
That's fair. That's probably it. Precognition, yeah. This was the one with the tree. I think that's just called your will to live. I was driving in the fast lane, heading out of town on business. I was fumbling with a map, going 70 miles per hour.
Bruh.
When a voice in my mind told me to slow down. I didn't. Then the song White Shade of Pale started playing on the radio. Ignored that too, but I put the map down and slowed down when a truck marked Bates Casket Company passed me on the right.
Damn.
What year was this?
Right? I mean, far enough back that he's still using a paper map.
What happened?
He was basically about to kill himself, not paying attention, driving on the highway. She, by the way, driving on the highway, and there's like 4 signs told her to stop this before you fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
When she finally, when it was the fucking casket company that drove past her, she finally got the hint. I was driving home through my neighborhood of 20 plus years and for a quick moment recognized nothing. Absolutely nothing looked familiar. Not just this is my neighborhood, but I lost what to call the trees, houses, cars, etc. Almost immediately all was normal, but super weird. Whew. You can fill a book with some of these.
Mm-hmm.
We'll end it off there. I'll probably link this down in the description. Because some of these are a good read. You'll have to sift through a few of them, which are just like kind of nothing stories or just kind of weirdly told. Like but some of these are pretty good. If you want to just like kind of have a dead of night, lights off, just want to read some spooky things happening that aren't quite ghost stories.
Creepy pasta.
Oh, you said creepypasta. Okay.
Yes. What do you think?
You started speaking as I was talking, and I missed the first word you said.
I just said
just
pasta?
something about pasta.
Yeah,
and I'm
I heard
like,
that too.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Pasta.
And then like
I'm
just
talking about
then just the shit,
fettuccine Alfredo.
just the fucking shit eater's grin after you said it was like, the fuck is this bitch talking about?
Pasta and pasta.
The pasta and pasta. That's pretty fucking fantastic. Speaking of pasta and pastas, you were pretty excited to talk about audiobooks today.
How long have we been recording?
Long enough that we're going to finish it with a segment.
All right. I kind of fell off The Wandering Inn because it was making me sad.
Oh.
I intend to go back to it, but bad shit just keeps happening, man.
Damn.
It is bad. And not even as bad, but like sometimes it's also just like straight up disappointing. Like our MC doesn't get to be able to use magic, and you're like, fuck. I'm like, maybe that changes, maybe something else happens, but it's like, and just like watching them continue to fumble through stuff was not what I wanted to do to myself narratively. So I picked up He Who Fights Monsters, which is another one that I see in a lot of top 10 lists. And that is pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
It's a guy who wakes up in another world. Wow. Whoa.
Fucking
crazy.
Very
I know
original.
you've never heard this premise before in your entire fucking life.
That's crazy.
But yeah, he wakes up in Hedge Mage in another world in the middle of a cannibal cult, and he has to figure shit out from there.
Oh, shit. It's a great situation to wake up in.
He gets knocked out with a shovel repeatedly, but manages to make his way through.
Oh, man, you just rolled terribly in the universe lottery.
Fucking did.
It's a lot of ones right there, natural ones.
Right?
A lot of nat ones. It's really an interesting read. It can be challenging at times. Mostly because the main character is really up his own ass.
Okay.
One of those MCs.
Yeah, and like not in a way that I entirely hate, but in a way that sometimes it's like, okay, you can shut up. And then one of the characters is like, you can shut up, right?
Like, okay, good. The world's
like,
calling him out.
And it's like, okay, fine. But there's a lot of like, there are some times when they're just like pontificating about morals and the virtues of different things, and you're like, you could cut it a little short. But overall, it's really good. I mean, I still like him. I'm still reading it. I'm still on book 5. I almost didn't jump to book 5, but we can just save that for spoilers. But overall, it's the magic system is very discreet. Each person has the opportunity to absorb 3 essences, and then those essences combine to produce a 4th. And then in each one of those essences gives you magic powers, but you're not like fully powered up until you have all of them. And you can't like progress in rank until you have all of them. And there appears to be like other forms of magic out there, maybe. But it's not really explored how that works, and magic rankings in terms of mortal beings are universal throughout the cosmos, which I think is a little unimaginative. I would have liked to see more diversity in an infinite cosmos. I think there should be infinite forms of, variation and like the way things could happen, especially in one that happens with discrete cosmos that they're set up. So there are alternate universes that exist in this kind of setup, but that's neither here nor there. For the purposes of like the writing and the story they're telling, it's not, I guess you don't really have to have that, but the in terms of the relationships that they form, and sort of like, the story that they tell, I think it's pretty fucking good. I think that the relationships are good. The characters are interesting. The story is engaging. I think it fares a little bit closer to the bad shit happens side of things from the if there's a scale between I woke up in a new world and I have a big dick and everything loses to me, and I woke up in a new world and I am a scrub that eats dirt and shits bricks. It's a real one. I read that one. It's pretty good. But
glad to know it's good.
It's a little closer to this one. The bad shit happens, but you deal with it and you're resilient and yada yada. I overall enjoy it quite a bit. And then I'm going to enter into spoilers now. I don't know, though, that I care how much destiny has been imbued onto the character, though. Like, there are like vast cosmic beings that exist throughout the cosmos, and when he wasn't like chosen, right? He wasn't like a chosen character. He was shunted to this other world, this other version of Earth, by happenstance. But then via that happenstance, these infinite cosmic beings have decided that he's the one that gets to solve the problem.
Of course he is.
Luck of the die.
Yeah, which I don't necessarily care for. As a narrative conceit, I really don't like chosen one narratives to begin with, and that in and of itself was enough to make me almost not read the 5th book. But I decided that I enjoyed the first 4 enough that the other thing that almost made me not read the 5th book is the fact that he dies and comes back to the original world. And I wasn't sure how much the just narratives that put magic or put secret magic in present Earth are narratives that I often do not find very, very interesting. It can be done, and it can be done well, but if we're gonna have fucking magic powers, and if we're gonna have a magic world, I want everybody to have magic powers, and I want us to run around in a magic world.
Right.
Like I can take modern setting plus magic, like the dungeon stuff, or like what's the
Portals?
No, there's one on Netflix that's a port of a Chinese series. It's something Life of an Immortal King. It takes cultivation and puts it in a modern setting, but it's like cultivation technology. It's more of a comedy series, but I think it's very fun. I could take something like that, but the whole like secret society, magic's real, but nobody can know about it. I have less patience for it, which is the other reason why I almost didn't pick up book 5. But so far, actually, is it book 5 or book 4? Let me double check real quick. It's book 4. It's all the reason why I didn't pick up book 4, which but so far it's been pretty good. I would say they've been handling things pretty well. It's more like it's less magic secret and nobody should know about it, and more magic hasn't really existed in a capacity that it could be widespread knowledge, and that is beginning to become a thing because of said cosmic disaster. And it's also it's also the way the author's setting up. It seems like a good place for our character to come into the next level of their powers, because the challenges and the level of power that exists on Earth is at a point where it's not going to immediately fucking zap him out of existence if he keeps being who he is, which is someone who's really fucking stubborn and a bit of a dick. Rakish is a very good word for how he presents himself to other people. But, if the author doesn't tell you that it's all, just a way to set people off every 5 fucking seconds, anyways,
you would be set off.
Look, you don't have to, there's only so many times you can have a character see through our main character before it starts to just become repetitive.
It's time to put this dude through a fucking character arc. Either let's mature him or not.
Yeah. Well, they do mature him. There are just choices that he makes at the outset that he doesn't make as he's not the paragon. He does grow, which is another reason why it's tolerable as a story. But overall I would say it's very enjoyable. It's been a very good read. it's not the best book I've ever read, but it's pretty good.
Okay.
I would put it probably beneath The Mark of the Fool. If you care about like realism or bad shit happens, then you probably put it above The Mark of the Fool, because The Mark of the Fool is very precious with its core characters. The Mark of the Fool, actually, I didn't say it does something that it subverts a trope that normally happens, which is like it doesn't kill Dumbledore.
Really?
If you know what I mean.
It doesn't kill the old mentor?
Yeah, the old mentor doesn't die. He just has to go do some other shit, and he won't be available for a little while.
Okay.
I mean, because he has vast cosmic power, and he has friends who also has vast
cosmic power.
And so when he asks for a favor from somebody else who has vast cosmic power, he has to go help them out for a little bit.
I gotta go make good on a promise. I gotta go pay somebody back.
So like Gandalf, except not dying and resurrecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, back to the thing I had. It was pretty good. I'm probably going to finish out the series if things keep going the way they are. And I would definitely recommend it if the what I've described so far catches your interest. Something the author did do that pissed me off, or I shouldn't say pissed me off, it just made me sad as a reader. Even though I think it was probably the correct choice as a reader, they had set up kind of like very early on in the story like a destined romantic pairing. And we had gone through this rigmarole of like, okay, so we've set up this destined romantic pairing, but how are we going to bring them together? Okay, well, MC gets a girlfriend. Okay, that sucks. What's-her-face is getting hounded by a criminal underground because people are being predatory. Okay, that kind of sucks. But now they're together and he's helping her out. Okay, that's cool. But the way he's helping her out is that he made her an indentured servant. Okay, that kind of sucks. But he's handling it really well, and is actually like, if she wanted out of the situation, she could leave at any moment. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, the indentured servant contract has ended, and he no longer has any indiscreet power over her, and he's handled that situation very well and been very respectful throughout the entire process. Okay, cool. And then she realizes that she likes him. Okay, cool. But he doesn't like her back.
Damn. We went through all this. Okay.
I was like, well, fuck. What part of me is like, okay, if the author's ever going to actually do that, how about they don't, immediately coming off of all of that history and weird bullshit, them immediately getting together would be...
It would probably be ickier. It would be more icky than this was annoying.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. And him not feeling that way about her after going through all of that. And he also has his own romantic trauma that he hasn't healed from in narrative, which also makes that make sense. But in that moment when he said that, I was like,
what the fuck?
I was like, because he didn't even say it to her. He says it to her friend, because her friend comes up and is like, hey, so she likes you, right? And we all might die. And then he's like, yeah, but I don't like her. And then you're like,
savage.
Yeah, well. Which is weird that you're feeling this for the side character, not the main character.
I want romantic fulfillment for all my characters.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Well, yeah, it is weird that I think it makes sense that side characters saying it, because my hope is that it's removing that fucking will they won't they bullshit where like somebody comes and does the confrontation, they're like, but actually I don't want to, and then they change their mind, and then
Well, I was gonna say, does it look like he might?
I don't know.
Renege on that?
I don't know. Well, I think personally, if I had to make a call, all right, I think he's going back to Earth. I think he's going to heal from his romantic trauma. I think that other primary romantic interest is going to come into their own separately from him in a way that will allow a romantic pairing to actually make sense between them, so that they can combine their strengths without all of the other bullshit. baggage that comes from the gratitude that from somebody fundamentally changing your life, and like, you know, that kind of a even if even without the servitude contract on paper, that level of gratitude and like emotional power that somebody
it's hard to wield. It's hard to create romance out of what is essentially a hero situation.
So my hope is that if that happens, but also like they don't have to end up together. That's just my ship, dog. That's
my fanfic.
Fair enough.
They don't have to. I just think that it would be really cool because she's good at punching and he's good at poisoning, and then she could punch and he could poison, and there'd be a power couple, and I like that.
Poison punch.
But yeah, there's a lot to like. There's if you can withstand, my main problem with the story, if any, is the pontificating that happens from time to time. But overall, I think it's very, very good.
All right. Nice. What was the name of that one more time?
He Who Fights Monsters.
He Who Fights Monsters. All right. Well, I'm going to be interested in hearing more from it. Now I'm satisfied.
The review was not complete.
Yeah. And then hopefully at some point I'll be hopping back to The Wandering Inn, but I have a feeling that that's going to be like I listen to a book or a portion of the book, and then I hop to another series, and I listen to a book or a portion of a book.
Okay.
Just because it's kind of sad.
It's real sad right now.
It's kind of sad.
That's fair.
Like it's just hard to read sometimes somebody fucking struggling and not really finding much success.
Well, that's like seems like it's the whole point. Do you think they're ever going to get out of that, or is it just...
I really don't know. I don't. You know, my hope is that at some point that character comes to their own power, but I think it's a very realistic portrayal of the struggle that it takes to get there. And as somebody who's currently going through that struggle, you know, sometimes you just want Kane.
I was gonna say, it doesn't like resonate on a certain level. You're like, I can't look at a mirror right now. I need to.
Right.
I feel that.
Right. All right. Well, fair enough. Look forward to more of either one of those, or as another new book. You never know with that.
I mean, I did start listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl a little bit today.
Carl,
which is at the top of like everybody's list when you look up with RPGs. I don't... Oh god. I'm not sure Dungeon Crawler Carl is at people's top of people's list because it's their first or because it's genuinely their best, but it's people. It's to the point where like when people talk about it in comments, they don't say Dungeon Crawler Carl, they just put DCC. Fair. Right? And you are expected to know what
just
that
know
means.
That's what it is.
It's like omniscient reader's viewpoint or solo leveling in the webtoon community. It's at that level of well known. So
look forward to that. Some more of that in the future. We'll probably get around to it. I was gonna talk more about this. I'm just gonna lightning point this shit. Drake drops the lawsuit against UMG and Spotify about the whole botting thing. But he dropped the petition. He goes forward with the lawsuit against UMG for defamation. Nobody liked that. And within this lawsuit, he has inadvertently named, I say he named reactors. He did not name reactors as in like they are now defendants in the case. But he put their names in the lawsuit by going, them reacting to the song Not Like Us was damaging to his brand and his and is detrimental to his safety.
Bruh. Come on, dude.
He has now pissed off like the last bastion of people that were willing to give him passes, and at this point Drake's career is now completely in the toilet.
I can't believe people reacted to the song.
Come on.
Not just people reacted to the hottest song of 2024. Reacted to the hottest song of 2024 after on-screen evidence of Drake telling them to react to his songs when they were within the beef. When Drake dropped Family Matters, he texted Kai Cenat, the biggest streamer on the fucking platform, to stay on stream in reference to him reacting to Family Matters, which did drop right then and there. Only for 30 minutes later, Kendrick Lamar to drop Meet the Grams. And now Drake is trying to say that them reacting to Kendrick's content is hurtful to his brand because we can't, Not Like Us says hurtful things about Drake, even though he literally essentially employed them to react to a song in which he says very defamatory things about Kendrick and his wife. Mm-hmm. There's no leg for this dude to stand on.
Not to mention there are things that he said about himself.
And then we get to the part where he said shit about himself and Taylor Made. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, how is this defamation when you straight up told him to say it? If you being a pedophile, even if we go on the fact that like technically by wording, Kendrick did not call Drake a pedophile. He said Drake colludes with pedophiles. And that there are people around him that are pedophiles. He never specifically called someone a pedophile, at least Not Like Us. But even if we take that he did tell Drake that he was a pedophile directly to him, it's the fact that in a song, Taylor Made Freestyle, you rap the line to talk about him liking young girls. That's a gift from me. You told him to say it.
Okay.
So what the fuck are we in court for right now? Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's still taking UMG to court for promoting Not Like Us. And he has now 100% like put his entire perception in like, it's weird to me that this was the line that it took for him calling like reactors was the line it took for some of them to finally realize he's a bitch, but better late than never, I guess. So that's currently happening. And so probably the next thing we're either going to hear is
him losing the case.
It's him losing the case, in which there is now the NFL has now asked Kendrick not to perform Not Like Us at the Super Bowl game. So, once again, I don't think Kendrick was going to anyway.
Yeah,
I don't think he ever had to. It's just him being there was going to be enough. But now it's people are speculating that he was planning on doing Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. So we'll see.
I mean, now he's got a whole album of new stuff.
Of fucking hits that he can do, no problem. Plus his whole catalog of greatest shit. Like Kendrick has 5 studio albums out now. No. To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, Mr. Morale, The Big Steppers, and GNX. He has 5 studio albums out now, plus his other works like the Black Panther album, Section 80, Kendrick Lamar mixtapes and shit like that. Yeah. He has almost all of his albums are considered classics. Like he has put out nothing but fantastic albums. He has one of the greatest wealth of like backlog catalogs to pull from to do this show. It's a 15-minute show. He'll be fine. Not Like Us never had to happen. He doesn't have to rap Not Like Us. He could just have Mustard out on the field with him and that'll be enough.
He might do something new.
He might do something. I doubt it.
No, I don't.
People do not. No one ever unveils new music at the Super Bowl show.
It's not.
I guess that makes sense. It's not as.
Yeah. I promise you, he's gonna do TV Off with Mustard.
TV Off will probably get played.
He's gonna do that.
They're yelling Mustard at some point.
Yes.
Mustard. But yeah, so Screwface Jean, like I said, one of my favorite rappers / reactors. I don't even really call him a reactor anymore. He's much more of a rap commentator. And just like his breadth of knowledge in hip hop and breaking things down, he's beyond being a reactor at this point. He did a straight up, essentially a diss track at Drake, more or less called Op List. I don't know if y'all knew this, but a while back there was Drake's Op List was put up by 50 Cent, who's getting his own flack right now for just the way he's been like kind of just like sneaking Kendrick and being an overly supportive Drake supporter. But that's neither here nor there right now. But he puts up a list in which it's supposed to be Drake's Op List, and it's like a 2-page document of just people that Drake no longer likes, and Screwface Jean was on that list. Which is crazy because Screw is like one of the few people that was still trying to defend Drake, like, and say that he could have a chance to come back. But he put out a song called Op List that really kind of addressed the whole like coming at reactors and trying to throw them under the bus. Because at the end of the day, like, it's so fucked up for the reactor community. Love them or loathe them, it doesn't really matter, because essentially whether Drake wins the lawsuit or not, what this the more than likely outcome at this point is that reactors will never be able to react to music and make some level of money off of it anymore. Like that's just an unviable career now, because at the end of the day, the fact that UMG is getting dragged into a court over this is, unless UMG pulls the most mega Chad fucking move and go, we're not going to stop reactors from ever doing this. This is dumb. There's a good chance that they just don't allow reactions to any music like this, especially in hip hop. So,
which, I mean, to be clear, is very legal, but I don't know if they could fight that.
Can you?
What is very legal? Sorry.
Reacting to.
Oh, yeah.
So if I don't play the music at all and I just talk about my reaction to the song,
that could be doable. That might be doable, but then you have this whole thing of like trying to break down bars and
just
you can't say it's good. Even if reactors find a way around it, it's just the fact that it completely changes the landscape because one dude is throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Like it's Drake is, like I said, it's weird that this was the line he had to cross for people to finally just accept that he's just a bitch, but not him kissing and hugging up on a fucking 17-year-old, not him sleeping with his mentor's girl while he was in prison, not him stealing people's songs and sounds and styles, not him having ghostwriters. None of that shit was the line. It was him naming Kai Cenat, No Life Shack, and a couple other reactors in the defamation lawsuit as like evidence that his brand was hurt that finally crossed the line for a lot of people. Like, to me, that's weird.
Yeah, that's not even the reason.
I'm not really seeing the line between Drake putting people in a lawsuit and not being able to react to shit anymore.
Putting these people in a lawsuit is he's making the argument that his brand was hurt by the amount of eyes reached by people reacting to his content.
Yeah.
Which, even if he loses on that front, of which that's not like it's under fair common use, it could possibly incentivize UMG, which is still a corporation that is still about making money, and frivolous lawsuits still cost money. Going just preempt, essentially, it's the unfortunate bit of preemptively stopping this from ever happening again that people are worried about.
How about we just don't react to Drake music anymore?
That'd be the best outcome. And then nobody gets sued.
Well, then it's like, okay, Drake music, but then what about music that is about Drake? Or like
any music that could be considered negative to another person's brand. This is open to Pandora's box that even if it doesn't wind up, and even if it winds up with Drake losing, it's just a shit show that could lead to some, and it's not guaranteed, obviously, but it could lead to just a change in the landscape of how reactors do what they do and being able to do what they do.
I really hope they don't, because then Drake wins.
And then Drake wins, and he gets to burn down everything on his way out. But maybe that's his ultimate goal, is to go, well, fuck y'all, since everybody was so quick to be against me. I'm just going to middle finger to everybody and fuck all this, whether I win or lose. If I can force this move and force a negative outcome from everybody else, I don't care that I don't get to be hip hop anymore. I'll just go back to pop. I'll go back to acting. I'll go back to whatever the fuck, right? Like
acting,
right? So we'll see where things go. Who knows? Unfortunately, UMG is still one of the biggest music distributors out there, and they hold a lot of sway. And that's the worrisome part, is you have it's almost impossible to react to music and not have UMG controlling it somehow. So that's the big thing with that. I don't want it to be a whole segment. Drake's a bitch, always has been a bitch, continues to be a bitch. People are now opening their eyes and finally seeing it and realizing that he's a bitch to a point that that's just who he is. There's no way he can walk this back now. So we'll kind of see where we go. But yeah, this is a long episode. Yeah. I think we are going to be just shy of like 4 hours on this one, but that's okay. That's okay. There's some portions of that got to get cut out, but it is going to be a long one. But it is what it is.
A lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about.
A lot to update you on.
Yes, it was. Thanks for y'all for
went through a lot. Even though it was long, we went through more than we
went through quite a bit, which I thought we were going to have a short episode this time around, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for y'all for being on this wonderful little journey with us. Hope y'all enjoyed the new graphics. If you watched episode 44, you'll get to see the new intro, outro. Once again, shout out to Shiloh Illustrates for that wonderful fucking art she put together for us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, season 2 is now here. Once again, shout out to Mike, our current Patreon supporter. He is a lonely old god sitting up at the top right now, and he needs some friends to come and sit along with him. So how about y'all hop on? Now, it's only a fucking $1. $1 a month. That's it. How long is going to be that? But it's that right now. So really good time to get in on that. And it's going to be that for, if you get in now, that's the only price you're ever going to pay for the rest of your time supporting us. Rest of your natural lives. I'll make sure of it.
We can't really guarantee the whole afterlife payment system thing. So
someday we will. Don't worry about that. You ain't got to worry about that.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out later. Yeah.
What if it's an unnatural life?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure
it out. But yeah, no. Thank y'all for being here. This is a great episode. Time for us to go to bed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
5 stars.
On all of our social media.
Stay gay.
Peace.
Bye. I wanted your big brother and sister. I guess I'll take you too. Whoa, wait.